Hello! Good evening, everyone. Or whatever time it is. It is Wednesday. And it is, in theory, second to last day of Enfield Beta. Not that they've actually announced an end date yet, but we're just assuming that tomorrow is the last day, since then it will have been exactly 4 weeks. So, we'll see. We'll see. Is Twitch okay? Yes, it is okay. Wow, wow, wee wah. We can hop right in. We have some, we'll do some normal random stuff here at the first. I ran out of these, okay. I guess I use my stamina still, in theory. Sure, here we can upgrade some more skills, I guess. Hey there, Arknight. I'm on the wrong character. Hey there, Azunian.
Let's do it. Fire in the hole. Ready to
Ow.
An opening.
Here's your prize.
Aw, you dodged.
Blood of the back.
We're here.
Feel the might of this land. Stick together, people.
Bonk.
I shall be the avatar of radiance.
What the? How hard did she just hit with her ult?
Watch out. Need a
Ready
hand?
to strike.
That dude just walked into the attack?
Best you do.
Okay,
That was hard
interesting.
like that. More like
They kind of decided to kill themselves, not gonna lie. Hey there, Cubic Clasher. Yeah, so today's plan is most likely we'll do a little bit of, you know, just normal gaming here. Because, for example, I have not done the week's algorithm memory or whatever, so we can try and get some more weapon rolls and essences from that.
This quickly.
Ready to strike. Be crushed.
And we can also just, we can actually also just use all of the, you know, rolls that we just kind of have lying around.
The wolves.
Obviously.
Finish this.
Run them through.
Fire in the hole.
time delivery. Here's your prize.
Attack.
So that's the whole thing as well. Assuming, you know, a beta is ending, no point to save them anymore.
Fire be purged. A well-deserved victory. Extinguish
Bonk.
the foe.
Holy shit, she actually dodged it. That's insane. Fuck you. So we'll do some of that stuff. And then, essentially my plan was that I would actually just here, on the stream,
Awaiting command.
essentially record my, like, sort of full review and thoughts of the beta and everything that it has to offer.
Battle has been joined.
Let me pave the way.
Let me run
And then probably try and
Ready to strike.
edit it together tomorrow.
Burn in my flame. Time delivery.
Be crushed.
And actually post it as well.
Well-deserved victory.
I hope to fight more enemies worthy enough to sink
Man,
my blade.
how could
Enjoy
you?
your prize.
Let's do it. Fire in the hole.
Ready to
Time
strike.
delivery. Coward.
Let me run them
Get
through.
some fast
Ready.
dishes.
Be crushed.
Bonk.
Out of my way.
I should do that.
Extinguish
Bonk.
the foe.
Didn't it hit the bound in the back? Seriously? Sheesh, goddamn.
Through. Attack. All shall burn.
Now that I think about it, it's a little awkward that her skills actually does, her skill does heat damage. Because most of her actual damage is like physical. Or she has like all kinds of physical like def reduction. I guess no, never mind. It's just def reduction. It's not necessarily physical specifically. It's just def reduction. Never mind. My brain's still in the normal ass Arknights mode. Also, yes, my camera's slightly bigger. Just since I plan on recording, I made my camera slightly bigger.
I'm ready. What's going on?
Tell me, do you have a reporting need an
What
expert opinion?
skills could we actually like?
So, any instructions, administrator? Just be yourself. Relax.
My crusade is
I was planning on actually using for the, well, try the Lee Feng team for the highest difficulty, like whatever. Highest diff.
Standing by. Always ready for orders.
For the highest diff, memorial or whatever. Algorithmic memories, AM.
When I'm
Sure.
not studying engineering, I'm pumping serious iron at the gym.
Pumping serious iron at the gym.
We shall carry out this mission.
Oh, we can do this for fun. Even though it's unlikely that I actually get to use some of this stuff. Oh, actually go over here as well. Get my plants. I don't think there's any good. I've just been putting random plants into here because I don't really need them anymore. A little fucked up, but okay, well, yeah, I literally can't even be bothered to put in any more plants. I'd also just straight up don't even need these XP anymore because everyone's max level. So I don't even need the character XP. Here's a chin. Also, I did off stream try and do a little bit more exploration as well. If I could have maybe found that one missing archive file we had. I was not successful. I did not find it. Still have no idea where it might be. I guess you should just jump right into it. Number 5. This isn't bad for his team, but well, let's try and take some like wacky one again. Oh yeah, this one. This could be a funny one
Going on a mission?
to use with Lee Feng specifically.
I walk fast.
Oh, also we have
Keep
to.
up. What do you want to learn today?
In this team, I think we actually want to replace this with Fort Maker. Just because there's a lot of, there will be a bunch of physical weak stuff, but this is actually better in this team.
You.
Okay, team updated and deployed. Okay, I have to press it twice to make it start. Okay, sure. Also, that actually, can't remember if I don't think I put it into feedback myself, but I know others have put it into the feedback where you could actually have, where essentially the teams, like when you make teams, that would actually save like loadouts as well, from gear to weapons and all that stuff. Which would just be a pretty big, nice quality of life. Because for some teams, like indeed Arklight, really her weapon depends on what kind of team she's running in, like which is actually better. Like in physical teams, it actually makes sense for her to have a physical weapon instead of sort of her signature, essentially, like sort of signature.
I'm doing my warm-up.
End this
Hit me.
Go.
Don't move a muscle.
Didn't take my input for Snowshine. Now it did. Okay.
You are in the way.
Low attack rate. This should blast you up.
Okay.
Have a taste of this.
Bonk. Oh yeah, I forgot I have like a, my dodge attack does like extra damage every now and then.
Somebody hurt my friend.
You are in the way.
I don't think I'm actually gonna get that much use out of it, but
Don't move a muscle.
nope. Bad timing. Man, mistiming Aurora's parry though does end up hurting quite a lot because you lose your skill point quite heavily. If you don't trigger it, you use a lot of them. Wonder if overall progression will be slowed down for sure. Well, maybe not necessarily operator progression. I feel like more so your. I mean, maybe some parts. Maybe some parts will be like progressed. Also, yeah, you can actually go back, huh? You can like re-choose a direction if you want to. Operator progression, like in some way the progression will be slowed down. Like the beta progression is for sure accelerated, but they might adjust it rather with maybe how many stamina items you get for free and whatnot, rather than specifically making. They could make maybe require like more items for certain operator progression stuff, instead of right now where it's quite sort of simple and quick. Like most things is just like, oh, you need one plant per level and so on. But I feel like in some way, at the very least, progression will be slowed down, I feel, for full release. Because yeah, in this case, you can have like a maxed out team. If you just focus on like one team, you can have like a maxed out team in like a week or two. Like very quickly, you can have like an entire team of 4 just maxed out. And I feel like that's just, you know, not going to be the case in the full game. Or maybe it will be, and you know, it is maybe intended that you get sort of fairly quickly can actually upgrade teams.
Don't evoke my wrath.
Hey, there's Strawberry. Oh. One of them wasn't dead.
This place is safe for now.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but like, I feel like the progression will be adjusted, just progression speed. And I feel like, you know, the simplest form of that would simply be adjusting the amount of stamina items you get, because right now you just get a insane amount of stamina items, so you can just kind of spam stamina items and not have any problem with having enough stamina to get everything you need. You just get it so quickly. Ping pong. I have my skill up. Punk. He's getting bullied, so I can't even actually get like. Parries off because he doesn't get a chance to attack.
Everything worked according to plan.
We'll get rid of at least 4 region, each would introduce new gears. Yeah, they could also slow down like gear introduction. And in general, like the sort of, I mean, also, yeah, like how quickly you actually level up and unlock all the new gear and stuff. Because obviously for beta, you unlock everything very quickly. Really takes no time at all. And also, I mean, I feel like you can actually feel it in some of the, with like how they've made some of the level gates for progression, like through the main story, which then also unlocks the new areas, which unlocks your new items for gear and factory and so on. It's a little weird. It feels very much like the current version of that progression is like a beta version. Because you have some weird artificial level gates that do not feel like final. So a progression will for sure have like adjustments for full game. Rather than what it is right now, which is like very fast. Which makes sense for a beta. You need people to actually get to the end game stuff fairly quickly. Rather than like, oh, they play for a month and they're still like in the, like not even close to getting to the end of the content. Oh, they blow up. Okay, I didn't notice this is the one where they blow up. Also, they're funny and fast. Not getting enough parries off for my skills. I forgot. Constantly forgot that they blow up. The Elite Mix combo is tricky. I mean, that's why Snowshine is here, because you need Snowshine to just like tank hits. Otherwise, you just do not get Leaping's combo off like almost ever, except for very specific cases.
Have a taste of this.
Nobody hurt my friend.
At least you can kind of farm him off of.
Can I start crashing them already?
And they're also a little fucked up because his combo really is important to his damage as well, or just rotation in general.
You are in the way.
So when we were building the Leaping team, we were just indeed realized that we very quickly realized that we just need a way to actually
By my arc.
find a way around the
See restored.
getting the combo interrupted constantly.
Don't move a muscle.
Honk. Boom, boom.
Done. Keep this up.
Thanks for the teamwork.
If you just do more domains early, we'll fill those level gates far less. Well, yeah, kind of. I guess, yeah, sure. Like, sort of, but yeah, if you use, like, stamina items earlier on, then yeah, you'll level up faster, and you won't get the level gates in the same way. And yeah, also if you do, like, side quests more and stuff. But if you, like, go and do... If you just go and do the main quests, like, the instant they're ready, sort of, then generally you'll run into a level gate. That's not really a cheat, it's just... It's more so that they, for some reason, decided to make consumables not a thing here. So it just encourages you to run someone who has healing. Like, Ember also has, you know, built-in healing that you can use. And so does Shaihi. Like, you have healers, and it's just more so the mode feels designed to actually for you to have a healer in it. I still need to get some... I wouldn't call it cheating, it's just design choice. To encourage use of a dedicated healer. Or not even dedicated healer, but you know. But then also like just on the level gates and stuff and like that sort of progression. Because also the thing is that, at least, you know, for now in the beta, you know, the story missions and whatnot, you know, they kind of have a certain level to them. If you go into those story missions, like, in a way, like, essentially high enough level that you go into them when you won't get level gated after it, that means you're probably just gonna be, like, way over leveled if you've kept up your character progression, like, at the same time. You're just gonna be, like, way too strong and just kind of slap through everything, no issue.
Reporting for duty.
I mean, yeah, you can kind of do it like that, yeah. You could have someone else as the main and then use him. Like, just use his skill right before you get a final hit on someone else. You could, but his, like, scalings for his normal attacks is pretty good. And because you're building him with all the DPS stuff in the team, then you're actually losing, in this team, you're actually losing out if you're kind of using someone else as your on-field attacker. And also the thing is that if you have his weapon as well, then you need to be hitting stuff with him specifically. You need to be hitting... Like, it's just knocking down or lifting or knocking back, but true. No, because now when the same wielder hits a markdown with final strike, so you want to hit his final strike. If he has his weapon, he's absolutely designed for you to be final striking on him rather than someone else. It could be you could do a funky thing where yes, you don't use Leafing as the on-fielder, but he very much does seem to be designed to just use his own on-fielder, and then you just have to find a way to actually get through his normal combos, which, I mean, for example, Snowshine does kind of allow you to do, so. I could have actually parried that instead. Where the fuck is he going? No, I lost my turbidity.
Have a taste of this.
I actually do have.
Don't evoke my wrath.
Instead, it's hard to get turbidities on. He likes attacks too frequently. Where are you going? Wow, didn't crit.
Have a taste of this.
Fucked up. Not gonna lie.
No second chance.
Now I got one. And instantly killed him.
This place is safe for now.
Because yeah, like even just Leafang's normals, when you build him for his, you know, sort of intended use, his normals just do a lot of damage just as is. So then you rather just normal on him. Even just because of that. So like right now he is just a bit of an awkward one. Like it very much feels like he doesn't have enough sort of just essentially support units. Ah! It looked like he hit his head on the platform because he ragdolled like early. What the hook? Poor Leafang. Yeah, it just feels like he's lacking supports essentially. Because I mean, it's just a variety thing. Like, you pretty much have to run Snowshine, otherwise you just have an incredibly hard time getting any final hits off. And then you need to, like, supply a bunch of SP to the team, because you constantly need both Snowshine's parry and Leafang's skill. Oh, it's this thing. These guys. I'm fucking slow. Okay, still put that out. I got it again. Okay. Oh, because I refreshed turbidity. That's why.
Beautifully done. Keep this up.
I'll just do two guys. Nope. I triggered it, but then didn't get it actually. Ow. I tried to counter, but alright, because yeah, now the dudes leave burn mark when they die. That's the mechanic. That's fucking this stupid game.
Don't evoke my
Actually, does that cancel that? It does. That's also something that you just kind of have to get used to, that I'm somehow still not used to, is your other, like, inputs really do just kind of cancel everything. Never mind, it didn't cancel it. Because I got turbidity. I thought it cancelled the last hit of my Leafang skill when I used his ultimate. But I still had turbidity on, so it didn't. So like stuff still actually I guess plays out fully during ultimate, so you know, sometimes I'm not sure if it cancels stuff or doesn't. I feel like for Angie as well, like I feel like I sometimes cancel stuff on Angelina, or Gilberta rather. I'm kinda angry. I guess I could also just be using this pretty much, maybe not quite on cooldown, but when I have it. It's just good damage on its own, even if I don't use the sort of follow-up. Fucking annoying area denial though. Ow. Punk. Fucking area denial.
Turned out to be easier than
Work on my parry, yeah. If you're not actually focusing on the parries, then you often just miss them because you press it at the wrong time. Or you press it and then you decide to interrupt them with something else, and it's like, well, that was a wasted parry. I literally just wasted it myself by interrupting the enemy. How smart. Oh, actually, like, can you... There we go. I have to actually wait for it to... In general, you actually just kind of have to... On some teams, at least. Then even on just, like, characters by themselves. Jesus, how did I not make the jump? work on not interrupting them just yourself by lining up too many skills or something. Because you can also, for example, you can interrupt like you can interrupt snow shines, parry window, or other stuff by using her ultimate or by using her her combo attack. You can just interrupt the parry and then not get a parry because of that, because whoops, you just kind of spammed the combo button as you had combos available. Now, I haven't run into Tragalos in Algorithmic, so I'm wondering, like, where is this dude? If he's supposed to be in here. Because I'm assuming he's only on difficulty 5, and I've done a difficulty 5 run. But I guess that was the first clear difficulty 5? Or there's just some actual, you know, randomness to it. That didn't hit. Interesting. Like, didn't actually target Snowshine, so it didn't hit. Okay, that's an interruptible one, okay. Alright, it's this thing. Maybe try and get more parries, because I need the SP. It's a lot of boys, holy moly. I guess I have this for the multiples. Yeah, the ultimate is really, really nice for clearing, just like, goonage. That works as well. Nope, I thought it would hit me, maybe. It didn't. Wasted parry. Oh, didn't have any skill points for that one. Man, he's real slow though. There we go.
No second chance.
Alright, I forgot he has fucking HP gates. Find secrets in the orb gathering stages? Oh, for fuck's sake. I don't think I'm not sure if I found a single secret on the orb gathering stages. Whoa! Wah! Stop! Fucking slow. Now, when I cancel my skill. So yeah, you do not indeed have like pretty much any vulnerability during skills, which for long skills can also be an issue then. Hey Snowshine, can you actually trigger your heal this time? Oh, there we go. I just have to get hit again. I could have parried that one.
Bedazzled by my art.
I wonder what these secrets are. Oh, never mind. That was just the last one. I wonder what these secrets are. Yeah, if Snowshine just has a little bit of stats. Oh, but she also has an extra... her weapon gives extra healing as well. And yeah, Snowshine is just very strong. Snowshine is a bit silly. In so many ways. Now I'm interested about these damn secrets though. Now I almost kind of want to go chase out some of these possible secrets for the Triangulos. However, indeed, well, we have at least some of these. How many weapons do we have? 12k? Okay, Jesus. Sheesh. Force them being randomly busted as hell. Yep. I guess we'll do some weapons first. Even though I see we could have, you know. I kind of want to do a... oh, okay, 6-star, sure. No, this thing. This thing. Every enemy hit with any skill, physical damage dealt by another wielder is increased by another. And yeah, with any skill. This is like a decent. It's okay for like just like. I mean, Ember, Dapan, Snowshine as well. If you're Snowshine on fielding, I don't even necessarily have to on field for Snowshine. But okay, sure. And yeah, indeed, Snowshine's healing skills with attack, so. Oh yeah, that's the one that stacks twice with Snowshine, yeah. Because for some reason the actual like parry connection counts as a hit. Well, the first question is, will Fjall be returning? That's like question number one. I mean, probably. It is just more so, yeah, what will he be? I imagine he'd still probably be a defender. It's just very much heavily reworked. It's a bunch of 5 stars though, goodness. 2 attempts for our guaranteed Yvonne guns, I guess. I kind of want to do another algorithm run now though, to see if I can try and Triagolos. Just need to, also work on a 6-star. Yeah, we still haven't found a perfect weapon either, or a perfect essence. Well, boom. Snowshine is better. I mean, Ember, Snowshine is genuinely just better. Snowshine does like more. The only thing with the Snowshine is that you actually need to use her skill, while Ember can function like fully skill pointless. But obviously, Snowshine refunds some SP as well. And yeah, he'd probably have some visual changes as well, like Wolfguard did very heavily. I mean, yep. Wow, it was her weapon. And actually, perfect if she just ran out. What do I even need from here? Like money or some shit. That's like the only thing I don't want to see. Or maybe weapon XP. Just because I have to farm for it then. I guess we just go over here. We have 9,000. We can do this at least. Because yeah, Ember heals as well, so. Like, it's just that she does, like, for example, you know, Snowshine's Ember still works pretty decently in quite a few teams. I mean, you can use Ember with Snowshine. You can just use Ember with Snowshine. They both play off of each other. It's just, yeah, Ember is a little. Well, it's the heat thing is also. I mean, yeah, her heat application is very weird. I don't know why it works like it does. Ember is more so just like. Like, I feel like if you're not using Snowshine's skill, then Ember's better to like take care of a sort of healing sustain role. But if you have the SP to use Snowshine's skill, then Snowshine's just kind of better, but also requires, you know, actual timing and whatnot. Ember is kind of just sits there and does her thing. You don't really have to care about getting any timings or anything. So it's a little different. Yeah, we got the Flamberg. Or whatever, Thunderberg, not Flamberg. Did we get enough? No, we didn't even get enough for another one. Damn, crazy. That doesn't even give us enough. It is 100 or 200. Like, I might use up, like, how many? We have 13,000. I mean, we literally only have 10, like, two 10 rolls in rocks. Maybe I'll do them later, but okay, now I'm kind of interested to actually go and find Triagolos in here. And yeah, Ember genuinely works better on physical teams than arch teams. And she very much designs for that. Because she still has like decent support. It's not like Ember isn't just useless. It's just that
I'm ready.
Do you have a
like she still has decent stuff. Obviously, she just, you know, she does a decent amount of damage just herself. And then this, you know, you just get some knockdown and you get healing as well. Right? You get healing and you just get like this is very easily triggered. It's not difficult
The
to
more
just
basic a technique, the more
get
it should be
this.
perfected till it becomes.
She does
second
decent
nature.
damage. You can use her as an on-fielder where she can just kind of tank most hits. You have enough healing to not really need to think about it. And then also you have def reduction. She has she has something that Snowshine doesn't. She has multiple sources, I believe, of def reduction. She has def reduction on ultimate and also damage taken reduction. And then she also has, is it here? It's here. Combo skill also just has def minus 20%. Her heals are easier to proc. Or like, you can proc it more faster. Like, and for example, you can run Ember on SP set because her combo is much easier to proc. And more like consistent, or you will proc it more often. And it also gives you like a damage bonus essentially. I don't think it has a very high, it has a 15-second cooldown, which you will lower anyway because you're probably going to run her on the SP set. So you're just going to lower that anyway. You can probably get it to like 10 seconds or something. While Snowshine's is pretty long, I believe, and is like not reliable for the SP set. Like the SP set is kind of a waste because you don't get it that often. It has a 27-second cooldown, and indeed someone has to get a low enough HP for it to trigger. I think Ember just gives defense to herself. She just gives defense to herself. It's just like a self buff. This talent is just, or this talent here is just a self buff. Just like Snowshine's also is a self buff, but it's also a self buff where you have to have defenders in the team, while this one is just like you either get attack, you get HP and attack, or you get HP and defense if you're below. Leafing for sure just needs supports. Like Leafing needs supports.
Reporting for
That's what he's mainly missing, is he just doesn't have really specific supports. While the other teams, like the electric teams and some of the other physical teams as well.
Do you have a combat mission that requires
And then obviously Surtur's team, and I mean Yvonne to some extent as well. You just have better supports. So. Leafing is not nature. Leafing is full, unless you mean, wait, did I miss something? No, Leafing is full physical. He doesn't have any element. He's full physical. Dapan has some nature element, but he's full physical. I mean, that's kind of part of it, I guess. Okay, I want to. Now I need to. We have time. I want to try and find this damn. Actually, which one do I want to take here? This one just sounds shit, to be honest. Avivena teams could be pretty fun, yeah. I could build an Avivena team that actually has, like, healing in it, but the team that I've been running, it has no healing in it, so for algorithmic memories, it's a bit rough. But otherwise, yeah, fun. Because if you can use healing items, then it obviously works a little better. My Avivena team is very much, it's not even really just Avivena team, it's just like the electric team plus Gilberta. This doesn't necessarily work that well with if I'm planning on running the Surtur team, I'm thinking. This one actually did work funnily, like weirdly well on the Surtur team. You could obviously just do this and get critical damage, but no one's really built crit rate in the team, so it doesn't really matter. You could even just take this. It's kind of boring, but it's just extra stats. Where even is the team? It's team 2. Avi team almost one shot. Yeah, Avi can do a lot of damage. You can stack so many of the spears that yes, you can with some setup just do a crazy amount of damage. Okay, so now we have to find secrets in these parkour levels apparently. Which I have no idea what that means, to be honest. Because yeah, there's like secret routes or something, but I've really never figured out like what that means. Well, yeah, but well, with Yvonne, it's Yvonne is the kind of character. I mean, a little similar to Perlica nukes as well, where it's essentially damage per screenshot kind of gameplay, where you run around fishing for a stagger so that you can actually use Yvonne. You run around for a bunch of time, building up for a stagger and like setting up buffs and stuff. And then you like, you know, blast it all. Bonk bonk. I forgot I don't use skill points anymore. No, wait, I do. I picked up a different... I already forgot which damn beam buff I chose. Okay, time for actual first parkour one. Yeah, Surtur can do quite a bit. Surtur with, like, combustion. It's a lot of damage. Must say, it is quite a bit of damage. Now, okay, well, I wonder where the secret... Are the secrets on both sides, or are they only on, like, one specific side as well or something? Like, where are the secrets at? Where's secret? Secret? But also, I mean, that was like level... Those enemies were also like insanely weak. I also four pulls until another 5. Well, until another 5 star. That's whatever. Because now I'm just looking at everything. I'm like, did I miss something? What did I miss? Where's my secret? Because it's up here. What? Jesus. Made me fucking blast. I mean, that's extra death, I guess, sure. But... Do we actually have any idea on what the secret take form? Is it just like the... Because it's like seemingly alternate routes or something? I haven't exactly figured out how you actually access them. Or if it's just like a different... Because you do enter the parkour sections from like different doors sometimes. No, Ember's outfit is stupid. I still have to translate my rant into feedback appropriate language so that I can put it onto the feedback channel of the Discord. Why is that blinking? Where are my secrets? I have to like scour every nook and cranny for secrets, and I have no idea, like what, you know, form they take. Where are my secrets? What if it's on the other side? Can I even go back? Okay, I can't go back anymore. Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean... Because surely they can't be like... The secrets can't be like too hidden. Like completely hidden. Sure, there would have to be some kind of... way to interact or... Like, jump over here? No, I got fucking blocked by something? Seriously? Nope, I can't jump over there. Okay. I'm supposed to be ignored. I mean, I've found people who agree that her outfit is stupid, so... Any zoom-ins on her ass are intentional. Unintentional is what I meant to say. Oh, fuck. Shit. Freudian slip. Damn it. I'm too focused on finding secrets, okay, that's why. Also, look at that sky. Wow, I never looked up. It almost... It almost looks like a... Kind of looks like an eye. Like a pupil and the iris around it. Can I jump on these rocks? Nope, not really. I guess there's nothing in here then. Could the secret be in these rooms as well, or maybe not? Maybe there should be ending soon. They haven't actually put out an ending date, but like otherwise everything points towards tomorrow being the last day. See, and no, this is just proof that her ass is too prevalent. I'm not even trying and it just happens. Oh, so this mode. This is a bit of a weird one.
Battle has been joined.
Burn in my flame.
Let's do it.
Need a hand?
Fire in the
So you can now already they don't get one shot once they have a couple more
Everyone
levels.
has earned their share of glory.
For this team, this one works quite well though, because you just kind of
Hand? Practice cower and fear.
local hostile forces.
because you essentially go out of combat, you just get your SP back as well, so you can just
Done.
Let's do it. Fire in the hole.
you just kind of get to do that over and over again.
Feeling heavy? That's right. Done.
They will announce the ending day, yeah, but
Got this.
or the ending time.
Very impressive.
But considering they announced the pre-download for the game 24 hours before it was live, it might be the same thing for the ending time. It's just that the thing is that none of the like all of the okay, yeah, because I can't access that from here. Because all of the, for example, the banner ends like it has 2 days left, today and tomorrow. The login event has 2 days left, today and tomorrow. Or well, actually, you've already gotten all. If you've logged in every day, you already got all the rewards, but like it's still going for today and tomorrow. The banners for today and tomorrow. Like, was he removed in the game? I mean, frankly, these parkour sections could be removed. Like, actually, parts of this mode could just be removed and replaced. And also, Ember's outfit needs to be removed. Secrets? Any secrets? I must hit the thing to make it move. Any secrets? Oh yeah, and yeah, some of the requirements for like, yes, the zip lines need some streamlining, which would just mean removing some aspects of building them. Okay, so well, I can obviously go, okay, so up is correct. So obviously I should just go down. Right? I should probably hit this on first. But I'm assuming these just go like up and over. Yeah, they don't go down, but there's obviously a route downstairs. And this one is the correct one. I guess we go downstairs. Because it's not like we can get back up. I don't think. Oh, challenge goal completed. Enter Trail of Holy. Oh, I've been here. This one I've been to before. Like I've jumped into this one before. Like this little separate like thing. Which I mean is literally just you just jump down and that's it. Like but last time I didn't get a notification because I came through a different direction. I came through there instead. So I didn't get like that little notification. So what are these? Okay, because I've dropped down into here before, but I didn't get the notification of dropping down into like anything specific. It might have been literally just that. I'm just running how many secrets you have to get. Oh, it's the Spinny Boys.
Feeling heavy? That's right. Done.
Standing by.
And yes, Gilby is like premium wave clear. No, nothing else got stuck into the vortex. The Peroni.
Let me run them through. Be crushed.
Kind of a weird one because stuff spawns very disjointed from each other. And then you also have to watch out for the, you know, dumb spinny ball.
Ready to strike.
Ah,
Attack.
come on. Oh, another spinny boy. Double spin.
Stick together, people.
Let's do it.
Splinter.
I got this.
Springtime delivery.
Nice.
Very impressive.
A noteworthy
Stick
performance.
together,
Let
people.
me run them through.
Ow.
Done. Springtime delivery.
It
Nice.
has ended.
Is the beta ending or something? It should, in theory. In theory, tomorrow is the last day, but they haven't actually announced the official end time yet. It's just that everything points toward it ending tomorrow. Or at the very least, it's sort of at the point where it's like, once like the banner ends and everything. Like if you don't like have banners or login events or anything, you don't really have that much left to sit around and do. So. I wonder if there's a secret on this one as well. You just have to kind of look at everywhere you can. Because yeah, here you can go up and stuff. Like down is sort of correct, but oh, Jesus. You can go up as well, but I don't think it takes. Oh, never mind. It does take you somewhere. Oh no, this is the correct. No, this is the correct direction. Never mind. Does that zipline actually work though? Does this go somewhere? Oh, this does go somewhere. Yes, we're going down. Does the zipline work? And just keep playing until public test. Oh, we can go up here. Oh, I'll get those. Okay. Oh, I'll go over here. Right, 'cause yeah, this is just another one of the possible start points for this map. You can start from here instead. And yeah, we will go down. Okay, that's all I see the other way. Hey, they're still. Cause yeah, that's just the other way you can like get started from. Okay, down is clearly something over here though. I'm assuming just more like. Yep, just some more orbs. And just goes back up here. Yep. Okay, yep. Trail of Ascension. Yippers. And then just jumps you right over here. You miss a couple like orbs, I guess, but because it made up for the orbs you get from the actual secret itself. Okay. 2 secrets. And we still have at least one. We probably have one more secret then.
Let me run them through. Be crushed.
Feel the might of this land.
The radius
It's for damage reduction. He's gonna do the teleport, so we'll just let him do it.
ready to strike. Be crushed. Noteworthy performance. Be crushed.
Nice. Also, I forget sometimes that indeed Gilby's skill actually heals you as well. Okay, next one. Your main character is good in this game? Decent. They do need more though. And there's some wacky stuff going on with main character in the beta because sometimes they're voiced and sometimes they're not, and it doesn't really make sense when they are and when they aren't. Yeah, Gilby just kind of does everything. Gilby is like an insanely strong support. Oh, okay, no, there is something like... No, never mind. You cannot jump down there. Never mind. No jump for you. Fuck you. And it's clearly also not somewhere you can jump to. It's like up there, but yeah, because that's the other way you can go into this map. You start from over there and then come down here. I wonder if I can actually make it up from there from somewhere. I don't think so. Unless there's like a way up. Well, I can't. Okay, I can't even go back from here anymore, so. That's already the end. Kind of close. Did I literally just miss it? Are you serious? It was back here somewhere? Serious? My ass. Might as well restart then. It's useless if I don't get all of them. It was back there? Can you let me... If I jump far enough, can you spawn me back over there? Wait, what if I... Oh, never mind. It actually just, like, ends it. I can't, like... Wait a minute. They haven't actually announced it, no, yet. But, there's just assumptions. Okay. I'm gonna pull a pro gamer move. We'll see what this... I have a feeling I know what this is gonna do, but... Indeed. We just close the game and we see if it saves our progress and just restarts at the beginning there. It may. We'll see. Because, I mean, the other option is just that it, you know, it just cancels the run, which we'd have to do anyway. So...
Arknights.
Yeah, the other option is we have to stop it anyway, so... We'll see what happens. To restart it. Holy shit, it worked. Hell yeah, brother. Heck, unlocked. Just force close the game and you can go back to the beginning if you missed the secret. Okay, where's the secret, huh? Where is it? Oh, I see. At least we can get these. Okay, it's over there. It was right there. Wow, I didn't look down enough, huh? Just at this spot. Fuck! I missed. Why the fuck? Some of these drop downs are like weirdly exact. There we go. Trail of the crane. Which gets us up here, and then this unlocks... Oh, it moves those different. Okay, well, you still just jump down, though. Yeah. Oh, but I want... Can I... Now that I'm over here, can I make this jump onto that? Yeah, I can. I can at least get these. I can't get the one up there, but... Should have checked my stats reset. I don't think they do. I'd assume it would save like all of these. Like, yeah, I have 15 of these still. Okay, so these now move differently or something. Yeah, there's another one. Okay, that one moves like to the back now. I see. Yep. There's an additional moving crane, which goes like to the back. Also, it like... How am I supposed to jump to it? Okay, they move at different times, that's how. I can't get these, however. I can still go back. to the other hidden secret, this double secret. Double secret. Yep. Oh, wait. Can I walk on this? Oh, I can. Didn't have to jump. Ah, I see. Okay. Go down. Oh yeah, I probably could have gone up and take the yellow orb, couldn't I? I don't want to risk it, but yeah. Okay, good to know. No, yeah, okay. Jump. There's water. Get back here, my defense orb. Oh, Jesus. Okay, it did not trip me, fall me to my death. Okay, is this... No, okay, it's still a normal battle. Is that all the secrets we need? I assume we would have just gone straight into boss, but I guess not. I guess we, yeah, okay, we just had a mini boss, so yeah, we have at least one more now.
Let's do it. I got this.
Ow.
Not up the back.
Not take like too many completely useless hits. That was perfect timing on the stagger. Blast them, thank you.
I got this.
Oh hey, we actually fight one of these guys instead of, you know, just... I'm saving my ultimates because, you know...
Acting this quick.
Oh! Yeet! Oh, there was some heals. Oh, it's this thing. Ah!
Fire in the hole.
Here's your prize. Feeling heavy? That's
Except I got heals. Ooh! He has a grab! Oh boy, he has a grab, huh? I've never seen his grab in my life. Because all versions of this dude that I, you know, actually meet in the overworld, they just kind of die instantly. Oh, he does have the... He has like a mini triangle attack.
get some fast juju.
Fucking command grab.
Stick together, people.
Oh, so he fucking zoomed towards me as well. He did like... He had no chill. I sure hope my Ember revives.
That was hardly a
Okay, yeah, Ember revives. We're good. Yep, okay, yeah. Very much a special little section here with all this originium. Ooh. Ooh, cool little area. Oh, we get a little... Oh, huh. We get a little overhead maze situation. You come back here. Do I have to, like, catch you? Is that what you do? Okay, yeah, exactly. Or you have to, like, unlock these. Has there been a, like, overhead camera anywhere else in the game? I don't think so. Or you get, like, this still thing. I don't think you can jump above the lasers. I'd be very surprised if you could. Ow. Or one of them just... Oh, they closed. But yeah, no, you well... Never mind, you can jump over them. Or not? No, you can. Sort of. Kind of. Maybe just a very specific timing or whatever, but you can, apparently. No, oh well, I'm actually, never mind. The lasers aren't permanently on, I just have to wait for it to turn off so I can go over here. Thank you. Never mind, you can also just jump over them. You can just jump over them. Pikmin cave level. Surely they wouldn't put any more secrets in this area. It's a nice little lead up though. I like this corridor. It's a very cool looking corridor. Even if it's just a straight line with like a maze and some orbs. Also kind of, it's a little like Seath crystal cave Dark Souls 1, except it's not crystals, it's black rock. At least they put in like a unique lead up if you get the secret boss. That is, however, a cool thing is that like if you get like secret bosses just in general for this mode, that's obviously cool. I mean, whichever makes sense. It's the same thing as IS has multiple bosses. And like, you know. Hey, Trigolos, level 57, however, but I guess it has buff stats still. And I took this team because I think this team will actually work better against Trigolos than the Leaf Fang team doesn't work that well against Trigolos. Just because Trigolos phase 2 and 3 is kind of difficult to get parries off of
Battle has
him.
been joined.
Oh, they don't use the original thing though. Oh, they got hit a little.
This must be avoided.
Nope. Could have, you know.
Stick together, people!
I got this. Emptying this quick. Get away from that.
Of course, I'm pretty sure Gilby's, you know, stuff doesn't work for it. Ow! Ow! Fucking combo. The one thing that this team doesn't really have is like very quick parries. Or like, you know, interruption skills that come out quickly. Mainly because you're saving your skill points for Gilby and Surtur mostly. Like the only one is really Ember. Because he has some doubles. Like he has this triple hit, obviously.
Feeling heavy? That's
Got hit a little too much. Phase 2, which is ads phase. At least I get the music as well. No, ads phase and big boom phase, obviously. Yeah, it's just instant. Why the fuck? Did Surtur not even use her skill? I think she didn't. I think she forgot. Alright, it's also this phase.
I got this. The wolf shall finish this. Blood up the back.
Whoop! One obviously problem with Ember's. Like in theory, Ember's healing, if you don't have like enough healing on her, you can sort of fall behind the amount of damage you're taking if like you take lots of big singular hits. Which, you know, like more often you will with bosses, obviously. I can dodge. But I guess you also, you know, have ult for damage reduction, so... But it's just, if you don't have your ult up consistently, then... obviously it doesn't work quite the same. No, fucking ads. Oh, there's a lot of ads! Jesus Christ. Okay, I thought I jumped over the... Jesus! Jesus! Oh my god! I had a lot of waves. I was not expecting so many waves from him. Also, he's, I mean, clearly a little bit more aggressive, which is nice. Like, comboing more with his ads. That's also because you're not actually just, like, instantly removing the ads. Like in the normal fight. If you just prepare for it. Fucking Christ, man. I'll take this. A bit of an awkward stagger right as his health bar ended. I can even use this for some extra healing, just while we wait, because we were max SP. His attack speed at enemy HP goes down. Now it's time for funky mode. I do think this is a cool phase though. He has corrosion on him. So you can actually see where he's going. However, this Tim 1 issue, he moves around a lot in this phase. And you have a lot of charge. You have a lot of the skills that take a while to charge. Oh, it's the near mode.
Try to not stumble. You're weak to stumble.
128 on the crit there. Woo! Pretty good damage though. I accidentally single touched that skill. Missed that.
Enjoy your last moments alive.
Oh, it's this mode. Whoa! My ultimate! He wasted it! Never mind. He just died on his own. He died on his own? He just kind of gave up? What hit him? Yeah, so the near bullet hell could also be... They should use that more. I guess... Yeah, because Combust does damage over time. So Combust just killed him. And also, I guess some normal hits as well, probably. Yeah, that particular near bullet hell one, you do just have... it's a small cone in front of him, so if you're close to him, like, you just sidestep it and then it's free. However, one thing with that kind of... If you can't sort of sidestep it in that way, is that your friends are probably not going to be dodging those balls very effectively. If it's actually like a proper bullet hell covering up most of your screen. Then it can be a bit tricky to dodge. Like your friendlies might not be dodging all of them. So I don't know how you'd maybe sort of balance that. But however, they could also, if you have like, you could have like sort of a phase. You could have like some attacks or phases where that happens, like specifically, and because they could actually pull it up into like an overhead cam as well, like they did for the maze. They could actually pull it up for an overhead cam so that, you know, it's better to see what you're dodging with that kind of attack. But yep. Okay, well, at least we found the secret Triagalos. Secret Triagalos found. This wasn't that. Yeah, just had to find a couple secrets, that's all. Right, where we like... I guess we'll just do this. Because even if they extend the beta, what am I doing with these at this point? I even have like extra stamina items still. I haven't even used up all my stamina items, I'm pretty sure. Wait, how many do I have? Where's my stamina items? I think somewhere here. Are they even visible in here? Oh, we also haven't opened up these. We haven't opened up our essences either. We could have done that earlier already. Or this, where we can get a max dupe form maker, I guess. Yeah, we do need to claim the essences. Where's my... I guess okay, well, I can see it from here. I have 81 of these. I got so many of these for finishing like the whatever, like the progression missions. I got a pile of these and I barely even need them. It's like, well, I don't really have a point to you. And you get an insane amount of these during the beta. You get a stupid amount of these. It's only 40 per, but like... I've already used like over 100 of these. I think you probably get like 200 or maybe even 200 plus of these during the beta for just like doing all the progression missions and stuff. And then some of the like the, because you also get some of these if they did like a quick fix or something, you also get one of these. And then you get a bunch for clearing the max difficulty in algorithmic as well. So like you just get a stupid amount of these. Because yeah, they want you to progress, but then also still have, you know, the rocks for doing rolls. So you just get a silly amount. But I mean, fair. It's the beta. So for example, especially for full release, I highly doubt we're gonna be getting that many stamina items.
Oh, knowledge most ancient.
And then like, you know, we're gonna get them a little bit more gradually rather than like 200 of them in the first month or something, which is a stupid amount. Considering how like most of the actual domains or rifts you use them in are like really good value. You get quite a lot of the resource for doing the highest level version. So it's like, what do we even roll on? We have like all the weapons. Like I guess we could use like sure this one would be like an Avivenna one. What else is it on? Because we have like, I think I have like most of the weapons. I guess we could do spears because I don't have either of these two spears. So sure. I don't have these two spears. Oh, I don't have this sword either. Okay, I'll do this one. Because I don't have the Heart's Content sword either. Also, yeah, they'll probably have more 4 stars. It is a bit funny how we have like, we have less 4 stars than like 5 and 6 stars in the beta. I would imagine we would get, yes, we would. I mean, obviously, yes, the launch should have a different amount of, I guess we'll just buy these. How much do we have 400? That's not even enough, is it? It's not enough. Doesn't matter. I don't have enough for like a 10 pull. Nope, I have 3,400. Because yeah, like right now, what we have.
I'm ready.
1, 2,
Currently on standby.
3,
Ready for orders.
4 stars. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
We shall carry out this mission together.
4, 5 stars. And then we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Expert opinion.
6 stars. We actually have the most 6 stars. And then 4 stars and 4 5 stars. I do wonder how many they'll have at launch. So they won't be releasing a lot of 4 stars after the initial pool? Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, maybe. Maybe they just have like a core set of 4 stars, but it might be that they release more so 5 stars and 6 stars. And it's going to be like a core set of 4 stars.
Standing by.
And then mostly new releases will be 5 and 6 stars, just because it's more exciting. And clearly already we've noticed that it's not necessarily the rarity of the character that matters.
Any instructions?
You know? So, however, if Snowshine stays as a 4 star,
Administrator?
that's a little silly. Or rather, either she gets nerfed heavily, or she gets upgraded in rarity. And maybe still nerfed. So I didn't even count. Okay, you don't really count administrator. Yes, they're a 6 star, but you don't really count them. Weapon stash. Oh yeah, also our we should go through our what's it now? Essences as well. Like, I think I have most of this. I think I pretty much have all. I'm missing the couple of 6 star spears. Otherwise, I like have everything. I'm just missing a couple of the 6 star spears. That's it. Like all of them except the one, actually, but also we got so many fort makers. I get so many fort makers. We can get almost like another max dupe fort maker. Not that I'm gonna level it, but do it for fun. Sometimes these locks are a little, like, feels like it's not taking my inputs when it should. Nice. Fuck. Wasn't unlocked. Does beta end specifically? We don't know for sure, but in theory, tomorrow's the last day. Like, pretty much everyone assumes tomorrow is the last day, but they haven't actually announced it yet. 15 characters? Who did I miss? I counted 4, 4, and 5. I missed Endmin, which is 6. Who did I not count? The fuck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13. We have 13 characters. Oh no, there's 14. Dapan. Don't we have 14 characters? Not 15? Yeah. Tomorrow I said we get update next part of Jinglong. Huh? What? What do you mean? Okay, let's open up our essences. Cool. Then we can also go into here and also do some processing. Do I have any? Okay, nope, not enough. We have some of these apparently. Not enough. Do some of these. I have a couple of these. Oh, what the hell? Why do I have so many 3-star blue ones? And then we can obviously just do these. And see what we get. Since we have the essence, the catalysts. It's a bit weird you have like this catalyst thing. Like, I wonder if you end up getting these from elsewhere or something as well. Like, I feel like maybe there's... Maybe the essence softener... Because we were wondering about how... What you would do with excess gold essences. Maybe that's what you do, is maybe you like scrap gold essences to get softener. And then you can use the gold to fuse purples. I think 30 to 40 is a lot. 30 to 40 might be a lot for launch though. Obviously, because they'll add in characters over time. 30 to 40 might be, at the very least 40, I think would be a lot for launch specifically. And yeah, because they can't just like easily print out loads of characters, so. I mean, the support room gold essence from account. Yeah, like clearly right now, it's not a problem in beta. I think you physically can't get enough gold essences during beta duration for it to matter. But yes, eventually you will run into the problem of like, oh, I need to actually use up my old essences.
I'm ready.
The limit's 2,000. And yeah, probably. Yeah, good question, Leo. Probably yes. Even if the beta doesn't end tomorrow, I don't really have that much to do anymore. Like all the stuff that I would do is, frankly, a little bit. I mean, sure, you can just kind of mindlessly grind. Like it would kind of be mindless grinding stuff, or like optimizing the base and stuff, which I'm not terribly motivated to do when it's a beta and everything resets. So even if tomorrow actually isn't the last day, I think I would still, this would probably still be the last stream. Because there's just not that much to just do. Collect check. Do we get any, let's see if we get any perfects. What are we looking for? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong icon. I was wondering why it's a shield icon, but I guess it's like a shield icon getting broken. It's like the vulnerability icon rather than, unless they randomly drop more content. Yeah, but I mean, that would seem, I mean, if they do, sure, but it would be a strange one where they'd suddenly drop more content for the beta instead of just doing a new beta later. Could use this filter, yeah, but I mean, if you know the icon you're looking for, you can actually pretty quickly just like go through and check the ones you're looking for. Yeah, because you have another one on someone else. Let's just detonate. I don't know why detonate is this color. I feel like it's a weird icon for detonate. I feel like it should maybe be fire related, but like red. The panorama spot in the hub. Oh, I think I know. I think I actually found it like yesterday or something. How much characters are the 3D gacha have at launch? I actually can't remember. I haven't actually gone on, well, I haven't paid attention to actually how many 3D gacha, like how many characters 3D gacha games usually actually have at launch. And yeah, indeed, King, you can just, the icon here just always is the same for like, I guess kind of like the main, this skill, like the third skill. So if you're looking, because you're always looking for a specific third skill essentially, otherwise it's just, you know, like the random stat boosts. So you can just kind of look for the icon. Because if the icon, like, well, yeah, you know, like, yeah, the easiest way to just like quickly go for it is you just look for the icon that you want. Except I can't remember what the Crusher icon is because I don't even have one, I think. Where's Crusher? Crusher icon is apparently this thing. No, well, I mean, this is me, sure. I think, I mean, this is the same. It's just that this one has higher strength boost. Yep. Cool. Then here we're looking for staff icon. Will boost and infliction. Honestly, yeah, this is, I mean, yeah, this is better than nature damage. The stat boost is better, I feel. Of course, 4 infliction would be maybe also nicer for the extra def reduction. Because this def reduction is actually pretty significant, the def reduction from this weapon. Prepared Fjall Banner. It's gotta be, man. Isn't it just a whole bunch of nature damage boosts? No perfects. Here we're looking for infliction. Nope, wrong thing. Did I not have any for this as well? Or just don't go good ones? I have strength, because I just have strength and heat. Oh, if infliction also, however, infliction apparently has the same. Oh, because yeah, it's infliction. It's the same skill name, but the like skill is different for the weapon. But none of these are good for him because they don't have any of the other stats that you'd want. And here we're looking for combative, which we actually also don't have. I don't know the icon for it. Combative? Combative? Where is it? Combative? Am I blind? There it is. And here's the thing, we're hunting if we happen to get any triple stats. Because here, for example, giving up the crit rate is like a pretty big minus. And none of these that have combative also have crit rate. You have agility boost, but you don't have crit rate. And 3 stats just for the glow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't actually care about, you know, the power of it. You just want the glow. Yeah, this is Pursuit. Like this one also already have like a, I mean, this is a will boost critical. This is like a good one. It has like 5 critical boost on it. It's just this one doesn't have critical on it. But I mean, just will boost Pursuit is pretty good. Probably arts damage would be better. I don't think we have one. 5 Pursuit. High. So somehow I haven't gotten like any dupes of this one. Like I haven't gotten many dupes of this particular spear for some reason. Oh, there's arts boost and Pursuit. I feel like that's probably better than the will boost, to be honest. And this is the will boost Pursuit, yeah. Here, this is also just brutality, which is this particular one. But if you don't, this is another one where if you don't have like crit as well, it's not really worth it, I think. Because crit rate is so hard to build, but this does get pretty high when you get a bunch of brutality. It does get pretty high. Like this is agility and brutality. Like this could be like better than the crit rate. Putting a whole bunch of agility, just like kind of raw damage instead of crit. Sure. Over here is also Pursuit. Ultimate game boost is obviously pretty good for Pearly. I guess it is kind of still honestly faster to just do this. Just because you can like... Also, okay, you can actually use a keyboard for this. Last Endfield soon? Probably. There's not as much to do either beta is ending soon or there's just not that much to do anymore anyway, so. And yeah, infield roster for sure would gain from... Oh, well, this is better. It's just better numbers. Yeah, infield does benefit from having bigger... It's kind of weird, actually. Okay, yeah, I was like, which one is it moving? Does benefit from having a larger roster, but yeah, I mean, still at launch, I feel it's tricky to have like a massive cast at launch. Because you don't necessarily have to have a super massive cast, because obviously depending on your, you know, banner speeds, how quickly you're getting banners, you'll also just get, you know, you will be adding characters anyway, and right now banners are actually under 2 weeks. I would imagine maybe they're 2 weeks in full game. Right now for here, you actually have no sorting options. It's literally just quality, just ascending or descending, but it's more so you have the filter where you can filter for everything. Get a beta test for mobile. If they do a second beta test, I'd imagine it would be mobile as well, but hit the gacha out of content. Well, the thing is though, like, it's not, I'm not even actually technically out of content. I actually still have things I could do. The motivation just isn't really there because it's a beta and everything will reset. And if I already have a feel for it, like if I already kind of know what I'm doing for it, sort of like when it comes to just giving feedback and whatnot, because that's, I mean, ultimately the main point of the beta. But I feel like I've already, you know, I have enough experience and time with everything in the game that I can give good feedback on it, so. And yeah, obviously in full game, you can obviously go, you know, some parts you can go much faster because you know all the core concepts, and if they don't change significantly, then. And yeah, the 3-tier character system is a funky one, where like they do kind of need to just make more characters because of that, and unless they really don't make that many 4-stars, and it's usually just a new 6-star and a new 5-star, like every banner. If that's how they go with it, and sometimes it might just be just a 6-star, but we'll see. But however, I would imagine somewhat that probably early on in the game they'll like release more new characters with banners, and then it might like at some point they might, you know, have some banners where they only release a 6-star or something. So, because with the 4-stars, like, yes, they have the 4-stars. It's not like they need to make a whole bunch of 4-stars, because essentially it's the same thing as if instead you had weapons in the banner. If instead you had weapons, you would just get a bunch of like useless weapons that you don't need. In this case, you just get characters you already have maxed out because there's 4-stars, so you max them out very quickly. Like, functionally, really, it's the same. It's just, it feels maybe slightly weirder because it's, you know, a character instead of just a useless weapon. Like, they still are indeed. They're kind of a, you know, a filler in the role. Like, in the role. But at least, like, but in some ways, you know, even if it's a filler, you know, in the role, a character still somewhat feels better, even as a filler to get, because it just feels more substantial. So yeah, but I do probably think that yes, most of the new characters will end up being 6 and 5-stars. I did not find the last file. My guess is that the last file is somewhere in Valley 4, or somewhere in the hub, maybe. I've missed one file, like in the hub or something. Because I went through the quarry again. It was not in the quarry, at least seemingly not. So it's probably somewhere in the hub. And I've just missed it somehow. Got all the lore? Well, almost. Almost. We're missing one. One damn thing. Where I have no idea where it is. Some people have gotten all of them, but they also cannot remember, have no idea where they actually got it from. Or probably even like which one it is out of these. I'd like to claim it's not in the hub, as I've been running around Circus almost 10 hours with that one damn Ethereum. Might not be. It might not be. It is possible that it's not, and it is somewhere else. Because the thing is that most of them seem to, like, most of these, right? Most of these, like, where they're like, you know, this one complete report thing. Most of them I feel, at least a bunch of them seem to always be, like, right next to each other, like they're in the same area. At least when I was getting like the ones that I was missing, they seem to be in the same area. Which makes me then think that this would also be kind of in the same area, but I can't remember where I got these first ones. So it's like, I don't know. And I mean, some of these have like a lot of things. Like this has a whole bunch of items. This has 10 items in it. So could they really have all been like in the same area and not somewhat more spread out? Except this one, never mind, because this one actually, I think this one is actually something I think you got while doing a quest. Because they don't say where you got it from exactly. They don't have, it's one of the things that is indeed lacking for this particular part of the archive or whatever, is that they just don't tell you where you got this stuff, and they have no hints to where the missing stuff might be. But also, I think these ones actually you got, these ones I think you got from a quest actually, which is probably why there's a whole bunch of them and they were scattered all about, because you got them, you got all of these while going through a side quest thing, like a slightly longer side quest. So that's also, because yeah, some of these you also indeed seemingly just get by doing a side quest as well. So like that's how you get some of the files. But I've done all the side quests, so the one that I'm missing seemingly is not in side quests. And yeah, exactly. It's the pain. You miss one, and then you just have to try and search for it for like throughout the entire map, all the maps, because you're not sure where you might be. There's some kind of hint for just because it just says explore the world instead of giving you some kind of hint to where it could be, which I feel like that might very well be in the main game or the full game, full release, is some kind of hints for these. Like at least giving you like the map that it is in or something. Like if nothing else, at least telling you which map it is in. So that like, you know, at least you know like which one of these to go and search for. Obviously a bigger hint would be nicer, but I'd even take just the one where it's like, hey, it's in this map. That would be enough for me. Probably. Maybe not, because some of these maps are like, if I had to try and find one single little paper in the hub, it would be quite annoying. They would really be like combing every inch of the map very systematically, because you have fucking no idea where it might be. And because the hub is quite open as well, you can't really just like run through it in like a super organized manner, because it's very open and there's a bunch of like this verticality and caves and stuff as well. So yeah, it's a whole thing. And I have most of like these in most maps. I also haven't tried to like finish maps and get all the items and stuff either, because once again, not terribly motivated when it's like, you know, it is what it is. Especially if the default look is in the air and I'm looking it up. Ends up being a yap stream. It's pretty much what this stream is, especially if I'm actually planning, because we might indeed, what I might do here is actually, I might just like essentially live film my like review of the game or the beta. That's kind of honestly what we could just do next. Because it's not like, that's the thing, gameplay wise, we do not have a huge amount left to do. However, I do want to check one thing. Yesterday was the first time ever that I did this thing. That I actually did one of these daily missions. And it actually like, I think it gave you like specific rewards, which was like, if it actually gives you rewards just on its own and not just through giving you the daily points, then... Actually, a bunch of people have already made, like, reviews of the beta. Like, some people made them, like, you know, first week or first 2 weeks. Yeah, all my VODs are YouTube, yeah. Every single one. They do, because they autosave. That's one of the reasons why I stream to YouTube. Is because the VODs just autosave. Oh, it's just all in the middle. Dum-dum. Does this actually give me, like... Because I've already done all my dailies. Okay, no, I think it's... Okay, no. It just gives me a couple of... It just gives you a little bit of credits and, like... essentially gives you, like, the same little rewards that you get from, like, a little pickup otherwise. Still gives you something. It's not like it gives you just the points for the daily. Still gives you something, but... I'll have this elevator.
Something doesn't look right.
This tiny elevator.
Stay alert.
But also, I think... Right. There's the... I mentioned the panorama spot in the hub. I think I found it. It's like, it's like over here, isn't it? Yeah, when you go, like, you walk over here, and you get, like, a little camera zoom out. Rare mats? What? Still need to gather then, the rare mat? Yeah, I don't mean rare mats we need to gather, but... Obviously, yeah. And that is also another thing where they could, like... They might adjust the progression is how many, like, materials you get. When you're close to the wall, when you're going up, you just clip through the elevator? Hell yeah. Classic little beta goofs and gaffs. But yeah, it's like over here. You go like... Was it down here or was it actually up top? Or is it just here? It might be up, actually.
A rare resourcing flame.
So true. Okay, it's not here. Yeah, it's like up over here. You go over here and it should like... Never mind, it's not here. Where was it again? Where did I... Where was it that I... Where was it again? Was it over here instead? No. Because I remember finding this like yesterday or something. Well, yeah, you get like a little camera zoom out somewhere. Like, is it wasn't here? Was it over here? I think it was here. No, it's not here. There's some kind of advantage point at least, obviously. It's not there.
The thing you...
Where the heck was it? I know I, like, triggered it, like, yesterday. Where the fuck did I go? Where did I go to get it? Huh? Could it have been over here? Guess it could have been over here. Yeah, there's one in Jinglong for the village, yeah. I know I had one over here somewhere as well. Obviously, this, I mean, well, this isn't the one that I'm thinking of, but obviously this is just a pretty good lookout point, you know, up there. You can see your base and stuff. Yeah, because it was one where you could, it even gave you like a nice little shot of like Talos in the background and everything. I need to find this vantage point now. Yeah, we'll look at for the panorama point, yeah. Because apparently I forgot where it was. Obviously, this is, I mean, just a pretty nice vantage point of, you know, everything. Especially if you don't have a zip line right in front of it. On the south, on the crystal? Oh, right, was it on the crystal? Like over here somewhere? Was it like here? Maybe it was here. I remember it was somewhere like down, yeah. You go up from here. Where my zipline is? I don't think I have a zipline. I have no ziplines in the south. I think you mean relay. West of Plateau Heights? I thought it was here. I thought I was over here. Did I not go to the right spot? I literally was just over there. I thought it was over there, and then I didn't get it to trigger, and because I was just in the wrong spot. I didn't go up to the resource spot. Right. Deceiving chat. Always. Okay, we can just run from here and jump down. Right, it's next to the rare resource point, rather than where I was. Yeah, there, on top of that, like, no, not that crystal, but... Because this is not the resource point. The resource point is, like, up a little bit. Is it literally just, like... Nope. Okay, no. Here? Up by there? Up by these crystals? Northwest of this. Like here. Northwest. Oh, I guess we gotta get rid of these guys. Was it over here? Why do I not remember it being like right here? Somewhere.
Death shield shall splinter.
Let's do it.
Remove yourself,
Local
please.
hostile forces neutralized. Mission accomplished.
Gotta jot this down.
Have I not been there? Was it visible on the map? You see the Ethereum? Like up there? The fuck? Seriously? Straight behind the zipline. Like there? Those ones? Where's the Ethereum? Am I blind? Up the crystal northwest. Northwest is here. I have to clear out these boys. At least it's fast, if nothing else. Like, oh, yeah, there. You really can just walk up it, huh? It's a little awkward, but... it really is a little awkward. Yeah, it does zoom out. Little zoom out. Wow, it actually zooms out quick and zoom out quite a lot. It wasn't misinfo, it's real. Look at that lookout. Look at that Talos. Now I'm wondering what spot did I find yesterday where I was like, I got the same kind of camera zoom out. Where the hell was I? Oh, this just looks absurd as screen. No, I'm intentionally not looking from that angle. I almost did accidentally. I kind of left it there. That thing's a little low frames over there, but...
Oath, stay true to their vows and never waver, even in the face of death.
So true, Ember. If only you had more clothes on. Nice little panorama.
Time to bear
Oh, hello.
Stick together, people.
A little precarious.
Let's do it.
Wow, a blue essence. We can walk back up. It's a little awkward though. Like the geometry here isn't quite, you know, my legs are like clipping through a little bit and... Oh, I'm like not far enough to get the full zoom out. Why didn't I get the full zoom out? What the fuck? And I'm also wondering where the hell was I yesterday where I got like a special little zoom out. I thought it was down here, but I didn't zoom out when I went there. Check list the JP voices. Just for that, yeah. Shaking my head. Was the zoom out like a one-time thing? End of Enfield? It might be. At least the beta. That doesn't give me the zoom out now. Was it really a one-time zoom out? Really? That's fucked up. Are the panorama zoom outs really a one-time thing? The one in Jinglong isn't, so... But now it's like not zooming out, even though I'm like right at the edge. I'm like as close as I can get, but it doesn't do the zoom out. Interesting. Maybe that's why I couldn't find the one that I found yesterday. Yeah, very weird thing to make non-repeatable, especially when the one in Jinglong for the village is repeatable. That one's repeatable. So like, why isn't this one? Or the one that I found yesterday? I'm pretty sure, okay. So, because I'm pretty sure I found one yesterday down here where I first checked. There was one down here, which gave you like a zoom out into sort of that direction, right? So you saw like Talos and like the sort of distant views. But then, now it's like, it's not, apparently it's not repeatable for these ones. But yeah, the one in Jinglong is repeatable for sure. Weird. Only Ethereum next to the domain entrance of crane support in this zone? Where even was crane support? It's weapon tune? Crane support? I might have found it. I don't know. I'm not exactly looking to find or my Ethereum though. Also, it's not north. It's like northeast. Yeah, I hope they make it repeatable for these areas. Okay, we might go, however, I think we might go over here. I'll go over here to this vantage point where you can see like the entirety of Valley 4. Or well, almost the entirety. And maybe move the zipline out of the way so it's not blocking our beautiful view. Just making it a complain about it, yep. Move this. Like over here. Move this. Where have I pulled the powers here? I have a power here. Power my zipline. Nice spot. I like how they do give you like, you know, this spot almost very intentionally, I feel, so that you can see like your entire factory. Mine looks very empty compared to some people, by the way. I haven't touched this side of the factory in, I think, like since I got to Jinglong. I've barely touched this entire factory. I don't think I've touched this. Because pretty much with the factory was just like, I want to try all the things out and then unlock like gold gear, and that's kind of it. Like, I don't need to really get further than that. Oh, sorry, Wolfguard, I almost kicked you down, huh? But okay. So at this point, we could possibly indeed just... Oh, Jesus, someone's supposed to attack. We could possibly indeed... I could put recording on and actually just start yapping through my thoughts for the game. Could you position characters somehow? I mean, other than just, you know, you walk. I think you can, yeah, you can, if you press control, you can like walk instead of run. Yeah, they just kind of randomly follow you. Because obviously if you switch, you know, you switch onto where you're standing. So they kind of adjust themselves a little bit. Well, a little bit. But yeah. Can't really, they just kind of randomly follow you and place themselves, you know, somewhere. Kind of place themselves somewhere. Could make the entire squad look over the edge. Could be nice, yeah. If they make a photo mode, I could see that being possible where you could, you know, maybe move the characters like individually for photo mode or something. I feel that would make sense. That would be like fit for a photo mode mechanic or functionality. The cloud shadows, they are there and they are moving. Also look at her. Look at her doing her little cutesy idle animations.
Of all sorts of colors and flavors. It's
Fucking
totally up for
flavors? Are you eating your lipstick? I'll probably actually, I think I'll turn off. At least turn off music. For the recording. Because I can put I'll put like other music behind it if I edit it into a video. Are there clouds above? Yeah, there is. I'll turn the music at least. I might get interrupted by idle lines every now and then. But yes, there are clouds above. I'm not sure if the clouds actually do like how accurate the actual clouds above are. Also, I'm kind of getting upskirts on unintentionally. Remove chat from recording. Yeah, I might actually hide it. It's true. I might hide it. Sorry, Gilby. I'm trying to look at clouds, okay? Also, I did just see... I showed that cloud shadow literally just like a minute ago. So there's some like... I think most of the clouds are kind of like skybox clouds. And the shadows actually maybe are not synced to the skybox. Because I saw that, yeah, because I saw that one of those clouds like earlier. I think it's kind of like a looping cloud formation shadow thing that's kind of just constantly going over. Rather than dynamic clouds. Boop, boop. Okay. Let me just... Where is... Let me check my recording settings, actually. If you're running all on cloud shadows, wish they would procedure clouds too. That would be nice. Actually, damn, I won't be able to play this without an X90 card. RIP. I like how I'm checking. No, my recording settings I can still change, but I think I've set up my recording settings and they haven't like reset themselves to be stupid or something. Oh, they seem to be fine. Are they recording into a place where I actually want them to record? Yes, they are recording to where I would want them to record. Okay, chat. I need to make a cringe YouTuber intro, I think. I played Enfield, the Arknights Endfield beta for an entire month every day. So cringe. No, it was horrible. I'm not using that. Incredible, wasn't it? Incredible. Enfield, the Arknights Endfield. Yep. Here's what happened. True. Had my headset muted. Can you do it again? Fuck. No. But yeah, so say hi, chat. If you want to. I'll probably delete you soon, so you're not in the recording, actually. But you could. Now is your chance to say hi to the video. To people watching the video. Say hi, chat. Cannot delete me. Remove chat now. Hi video plebs. You typoed as well. Wow, incredible. Holy shit, it's the highest hype train. Holy moly, one of my first time seeing it in the wild. No way. Watching experience. Welcome to hell. Okay, wow. Jesus Christ. Okay, chat, say bye-bye, because now you shall disappear. Goodbye. Whoop. They have disappeared, except you're still here. No, you're not. You've been taken away. You're no longer here. Okay, so yes. I mean, clearly, as obvious. This is recorded live on stream. I'm just recording this as I'm streaming. Chat. Well, I mean, you can write what you want, I guess. Yes. Chat is having a time now that they're invisible. They won't be able to communicate to each other. Oh no. They're gonna start warring somehow. But yeah, this was recorded live. If you care to join, then I stream here on YouTube and also on Twitch. So, you know, you can watch wherever you want. Cool. Like or subscribe or something. But yeah, so pretty much, I think what we're gonna do is we are just gonna go through in order of all the, you know, main slots that the beta is about. I'm not like, you know, go over my thoughts, my feedback, what I think of all the parts of the game. So we'll go through, probably start with some overall thoughts, and then go into like, not necessarily in this order, combat, the factory stuff, exploration, visuals and sound, and then the story as well, with the narrative and story. And then just end with like some closing remarks, I guess. Don't forget to mention Ember. I'm still gonna be reading chat. This is gonna be horrible. You won't even know what's going on. Maybe I should leave chat on, so they don't look like an absolute schizoid as I'm reading out a chat message. But yeah, so I guess we start with, yeah, overall thoughts. I like how I put recording on. I can actually hear my PC like pumped up the fans a little bit. Overall, so yeah, okay. Overall thoughts for just the beta in general. What do I think? And I mean, over the course of me streaming this beta for like a month, I did genuinely, by the way, I did actually play it every day for a month. So it's just not even clickbait. It's true. I've on average played quite a few hours every day, actually. It's like an 8 out of 10. Is kind of what I'd put it as, like an 8 out of 10. So, I mean, first of all, yes, the game is good. And it's frankly quite impressive. Frankly, quite impressive. With just how much game there is for a first beta. Obviously, there was a tech test a year ago, but that thing was like that thing truly was an alpha, which has never been more clear than now with this first beta. Because it's for the first 2 weeks. I've seen multiple people say this, and I agree. For like the first 2 weeks of the beta, it did not feel like I was playing the beta for like a live service gacha game. It felt like I was playing just an RPG, which I guess kind of happened to have like a gacha system in it, but I barely even considered it. I was playing an RPG that was just like a game, and I could just play it as much as I want and do what I wanted. It was just like a team combat factory building RPG that I was just playing for fun, for like, as if I bought like a $30 to $40 game, which was very silly. I kept forgetting I was playing a gacha game. Which obviously, let's get real for a moment. Part of that reason is because the stamina and also gacha money experience is going to be very different in a beta, because all of that is accelerated. You're getting more rolls than you probably will in the full game, or full game release, and you're getting more stamina than you will at the full game release. So your progression speed is a little different in a beta than in the full game. So obviously that's probably going to feel different for the full game. So let's, keep that in mind. I mean, let's keep that in mind in general for everything, that it is a beta and some things are affected quite significantly by it being a beta rather than the full release. So that's like the disclaimer for this whole thing, is that yes, it's still a beta. It says it down there in the bottom right of the screen. It is still a beta. It is it's in development. But still, it's incredibly, quite impressive for just how much game there is for a beta. And like almost all of it is also like good, which is just like, I mean, damn, they kind of cooked. I was a little worried with, with what the tech test looked like. I was kind of worried. I was like, how are they gonna like pull this back or something? Jesus Christ, they sure did. Because also, the level of polish for a beta is also pretty silly. It's not like I've done like a million gacha betas. I've seen some of them. I've been parts of some of them. And then I've heard a lot of other people talk about, like, comparing it to other betas. And yeah, the amount of polish that the Enfield beta has for a first beta as well, so we're not even like, most likely, we are not releasing for another half a year or something, because the rumors are like August or something. but it's already as polished as it is for, you know, the parts of the content that we have. We essentially kind of have like, I don't know, the first sort of arc or prologue or something. I guess we have a little bit more than a prologue. They have like a actual prologue section in the story or whatever, but you know. Yeah, the polish is crazy. Like from the visuals to how it feels to how everything looks, how everything sounds, how everything plays. It's just like all the issues that you find are like kind of small things. You don't run into parts or these kind of walls or anything where it's like, holy moly, this feels incredibly like half done or like clearly still in development. You do later on. In the later parts of the beta, once you get sort of the end game of the beta, you clearly run into stuff that is still like early in development. But for like the first 2 weeks, you just don't run into anything that really feels like it's like very clearly beta content. Like any big things. You run into small things like, oh, that looks a little unfinished, or oh, that felt a little awkward, or like maybe it shouldn't be like that. What the hell just went on with the shadows in the background? That was weird. Also, don't mind the little notifications constantly popping up that my outposts aren't producing enough, because they're not, and it's gonna be there. But yeah, have some juice. So yeah, overall, it's just incredibly impressive for a beta. And I'm a little like, damn, how? The light map or something must have, yeah, looped or something and did a weird little wacky thing. Yeah, it just feels, yeah, I mean, I feel like the best way to describe it, I was supposed to attack, sorry, Gilby. The best way to describe just the early, especially the early game of the beta, is that it just doesn't feel like you're even playing a gacha game. It feels like you're playing a $30 to $40 game, just a $30 to $40 RPG, and it's just there. It's not a live service. It's not a gacha. You're just kind of playing a game, and you get characters, and you do stuff, and you have a factory and everything. Because also none of the factory stuff is tied behind gacha. We can get into that. So that's probably for the overall thoughts. What should we go into next? So what do we have? We have just like visuals and audio, which I'll bunch together.
Review the mission briefings, just to be on the safe side.
Okay, Wolfguard. Visuals and audio is one, obviously. Then there's combat is one. Story and narrative is one, which I think I might leave last. Then there's the factory stuff. And there's, oh, I guess there's the gacha, right? I guess we have to have at least a short section about the gacha. Oh, and I guess sort of exploration, environment, and that sort of stuff. Like, you know, part of the gameplay portion. Gacha last? I mean, it might be. Gacha could be last. We could hop into... I'll probably put that into some of the points, Shango. Like maybe in the closing thoughts. Maybe we should just... Should we just do combat first, pretty much? Because I mean, those is a pretty big part of the game. We should probably go like just like combat, then factory, then like exploration and that sort of stuff, like other gameplay parts, the sort of more miscellaneous gameplay parts, then audio visual, and then last like narrative story, and then gacha, I guess. I mean, yeah, visual design. Well, the visual design, I guess, kind of goes, that's into the audio visual part, which is just kind of a big upper category. Yeah, combat, then explore factory, yeah, how they're connected. Probably, yeah. Okay, so I guess next up we could then talk about the combat, which is obviously a pretty big part of the game. You know, I think for a lot of people, for the people who aren't factory obsessed, the combat is obviously the main part of the game, isn't it? Order them to order and introduce them into the game. And it's not really like a specific, I mean, you are always, yes, you are introduced to combat first, yes. It would pretty much be like combat exploration factory. So I mean, this is overall this is the gameplay portion, and then it's split into combat, sort of exploration and stuff like that, and then the factory stuff, or sort of gameplay portions for the beta. And first off, I guess combat, since it's like the main thing if you're not addicted to the factory, which you might be. Overall combat, it feels good. Like, so the main thing with the combat, there's a couple things with the combat, which is, first of all, it takes a little bit to open up. So they'll probably keep this. I'd assume they keep this in the full game, but you don't actually unlock like even your full team. You don't actually unlock your full team, like 4 people, until like a couple hours into the game, actually. You run around with 2 people first, and then you run around with 3 for a little bit, and then you get a 4th eventually. Like a couple hours into the game or something. Depending on, you know, how you're focusing. But obviously you need like the full 4-person team to really have the combat open up. But once you do have the 4-person team, it does indeed open up. But there's some things which just kind of don't click right away, and the game could maybe do a somewhat better job of kind of guiding you into. They do kind of do it, but not sort of maybe directly enough. Because they kind of give you essentially a story kind of team. They provide you the characters for your sort of story team, and they at least somewhat work together in some basic way. Because for the combat, it really just doesn't open up until you actually figure out somewhat the team synergies and synergies to make the combat actually flow in a way that feels good. If you just kind of throw in characters that you like the look of, without reading what they do, without at all thinking how they work together, which, warning, might require some reading. I know Ian can't read, but it might require some reading. But once you do that, once you figure it out, at least somewhat, like maybe you find at least one team where it kind of flows together nicely and you like, the combat really does, like, it starts clicking and starts feeling good. When you're using your skills, and you're like paying attention to what skills you're using and when, so that you have enough skill points for them. You're actually triggering your combo attacks in like a sort of a good order and at the right times, and you're saving your ultimates or saving your skills for the right times, and responding to things also, just live, and kind of figuring out a rotation for your team. Then it starts feeling good. Surprise. But another thing that I think we talked about on stream pretty early on already, we talked about it on stream, which is the combat doesn't, like, if you're just sitting, if you're there in the audience, in the chat that you can't see right now, if you're just watching the combat, most of it really doesn't look very special, or like that much is happening, or doesn't look that exciting. And it seems to just be that when you're watching and not actually playing, that is kind of what it is. Like, it doesn't really, you don't really see as much what's happening on. You don't get a sense of how the combat feels very well from just watching it. You kind of have to actually be there playing it and controlling it for it to feel like it's like clicking. Which is unfortunate when you have a closed beta that, only very few people got into. But hopefully, obviously on full release, once people can actually try it out, and hopefully doesn't take too long for people to sort of figure out the combat, and not just like run into an issue where they're running a team that just doesn't work together at all, and then the combat feels like very clunky and slow and just like annoying because you just sort of have a team that doesn't work. And another thing is also that, yes, early on you are kind of missing some utilities and stuff, because it kind of ties into the factory stuff and whatnot, but gear matters a decent amount. So yes, there's gear for the combat, but the gear isn't RNG. Getting the gear is tied to the factory gameplay, and you need to unlock higher tier gear, and the higher tier gear can really make some teams and some characters function significantly better and feel much better than like no gear or just like lower level gear. So that also is unlocking gear, and then obviously also leveling up your characters, unlocking their passives and everything. Because some of the passives for characters also can be quite significant for how they function and how it feels to play them. And how they, more importantly, how they fit into an actual team. Like some of the passives are very important for how a character feels to actually be in a team, and how they function and how they sort of smooth out like a team's rotations or something else. Because yeah, it is just the combat indeed does seem to be like the thing where if you can't get your actual hands on the combat, it is difficult to sort of get a feel for it, get a hang for it of like what you're really doing or looking at when the stuff is happening. Because otherwise I can't really have that perspective because I didn't even look at combat before I got into it myself. Like I've started from a clean slate of just actually playing the combat. But I can imagine how easily, if you haven't been able to play the combat and you're just looking at it happen, you don't actually really know everything that's going on. Stuff just kind of happens. And you're maybe not aware of just how much of that stuff happening is actually directly controlled and planned by the person making the inputs, the player. Like, you don't necessarily recognize some of the setup stuff or how you're responding to something specific because you just sort of, you haven't been able to get your hands on it. And you know, it's so essentially, it's not intuitive in a way where, oh my god, I've dropped it. No, I dropped my lip balm. Like from just watching, the combat sort of isn't intuitive to get a hang of. You kind of have to get into it. And even when you get into it, your hands, like even if you actually get to play it, it can still take a little bit. Like it still takes a little bit for it to sort of start clicking and sort of you figuring out like, oh, that's kind of how it seems to work. Recording ruined. In chat, how much thought do you put into moment-to-moment combat? I mean, it really depends on... That varies. The amount of thought you actually put moment-to-moment varies per fight, and also per what kind of team you're using. Some teams are quite sort of lazy. Like this team actually right here, pretty lazy to use. You kind of have like a couple things you do, and it just kind of clears stuff. It's a very strong sort of, you don't have to be putting a huge amount of thought in, a little bit, but not a massive. But then some other teams, you're kind of constantly keeping an eye out for what the enemy is doing, what do you have on cooldown, how much skill points do you have, can I use this skill now or should I use it later, where is the enemy, can I kite these enemies closer to each other. Like, it really depends. It depends heavily on team. And that is actually the one thing for the combat right now, this is very much a beta thing, is that obviously there's a lack of variety. You kind of have like a couple of teams that are sort of feel like fully functional teams. But that's just a case of character variety and sort of essentially build variety in that sense. Because it's a beta. We only have 14 characters. And like a certain amount of different like gear and bonuses and stuff. And that's what you're limited by variety, which in the full release will have more characters just at launch. And new characters will be coming out, so then you can just make more and more and more. Do you have a standard skill rotation? Usually, yeah. Usually a team has a sort of standard skill rotation that you try and like you'll usually sort of start out with a sort of, at the very least you start out with a standard skill rotation, and then you might adjust it a little bit as the fight goes on, depending on like how much skill points you have, like how many resources you have and so on. Low skill 4 but high ceiling, pretty much yeah. Because you can, to some extent, you can just unga bunga. You can just run around waiting for skill points and kind of unga bunga. But you're just not gonna have a fun time, honestly. That's the thing, is like, if you kind of, it very much, I feel like, if you don't sort of find some teams that you like to, that feels good for you to play, and that does sort of flow together well, the combat just ends up being kind of not that fun. Because the combat enjoyment and sort of combat puzzle is very much focused around team synergies and character synergies. So then if you don't really have any synergies, it's gonna feel very lackluster. And I feel like a lot of people, especially early on with the beta, I feel like a lot of people kind of ran into that, where they were just kind of putting characters that, like, oh, I really like this. I like this character for visuals or character or whatever. So they kind of just put all of those characters into a team and then just kind of pressed buttons, but there was no synergy and so on, so that the combat is like very meh. Like not much is not really much going on. But otherwise, but overall, I think the combat has a couple. So the combat does have a couple like current flaws in it. There's some like small flaws. Well, I mean, some bigger, some smaller. But none of the flaws are like problems where they can be fixed quite easily, I feel. Like there's a couple issues with just like some of the basic combat mechanics. But they're like quite easily fixable. They're not like fundamental flaws that would require a redesign of the combat. They just need to tweak how some stuff works, how some stuff interacts with other things. And that will sort of solve a lot of those issues. So, and maybe some things need to be buffed, and, you know, obviously balancing stuff. Yes. But, once again, beta. And it's the exact kind of things, the problems that I found and others have run into and sort of agree that this just feels bad. They're all fairly small things that are easily fixed. And also, they seem to be aware of a lot of them already, because as we were going through a bunch of the feedback surveys, side note, there's a lot of feedback surveys, and they take quite a while to fill out. They were very thorough. It was like being interrogated by the CIA at times. But in those feedback surveys, very often, something that we had talked about on stream directly came up in the feedback survey. Hey, was this exact thing that you complained about like an hour ago, is this an issue? And you'd be, actually, yes, it was an issue. You knew, huh? So for some of the stuff, they seem to be quite aware that it is an issue. And that probably a bunch of people will find it an issue, which I don't know if it's on purpose, if they've left like some of these issues in on purpose. The clouds just looped again. That's a little awkward that there actually is a cloud loop. But yeah, so even for that, I'm kind of not worried. Like, I think that's the main thing, is that for like 90% of what the beta has shown, I'm either just like, this is just great. Or if there is some small issue, I'm pretty confident it will be solved, because it's something that's quite easily solved. And they seem to also be aware of. But that's probably for the combat. I guess next up we could kind of go through... Factory and exploration kind of go hand to hand, because obviously some of the exploration is tied to factory stuff. And exploration isn't like... Well, okay, let's shortly talk about exploration, because I don't think there's a huge amount to say about the exploration specifically. It's just kind of normal good. Like, I mean, first of all, I mean, everything kind of just looks very pretty. Like, it's just nice to run around in the world, because stuff looks pretty, and it functions well, and your character movements feel good. Your jumps feel good. Okay, sometimes the jumps can be a little awkward, but they also asked about those in the surveys, so... Like, exploration is just kind of normal good. There's no really any complaints about it. Like, I can't think of anything bad about it. but also there's not anything like extraordinary about it. Like I feel like if you've experienced sort of a 3D gacha like exploration stuff, it is overall pretty similar. It's just a good, decent version of that, with some little extra bits, obviously, because of how it ties into the factory system, where you will be pulling your little relays, you'll be pulling your like power lines and zip lines and stuff across the map, which does add, you know, a unique sort of aspect and a unique dimension to the exploration, because you need power lines to solve some of the puzzles and stuff that you run into in the world.
Idealism is always detached from reality, and it's the first step towards disappointment.
Thank you, Edgy Wolfguard. But I mean, main thing is the maps look nice. There's some like decent variety in the maps. They sort of have their own identity, for all the maps sort of feel unique enough. And we've sort of only seen like, we haven't even really seen a huge variety in sort of types of maps that we'll run into. Like we have kind of one area, which is this, and the related connected areas, and then like the second area, which is a little bit more different, like has a bigger difference because it's like a different country essentially. Yeah, I just haven't, in exploration, I've never run into something which felt like bad. Arknights Endfield battle randomly being interrupted by Wolfguard, yep. And also, yes, that's another thing, is that, good point, chat. In like, so not visual teasing, but otherwise a bunch of other like possible maps and like nations and stuff have been teased, and some of them sound extremely exciting. So there's like a desert area that's been teased, and then there's also like seemingly some kind of actual just straight up cyberpunk style city that has been teased, and I cannot wait for us to go there. That shit sounds insanely cool, especially with like the presentation and graphics and everything that so far the game has showed. So yeah, exploration is just like a normal good. There's no issues with it, but for the most part it also doesn't do anything super special. It's like, it's good, but also since the maps, like one thing is that since the maps are not like massive, you don't have massive, huge maps, because right, it is not an open world. It is not a fully open world. It is, what do you call it? Like semi-open world. You have multiple areas that are connected seamlessly. So these are connected seamlessly. You can just walk between these. You don't have to teleport to them or anything. There's no loading screen if you just walk to them. But they're separated into instances. So the maps also don't get like huge where it feels like, oh my god, I have like way too much to explore. Because it's sort of packaged into multiple smaller areas that you can focus on, like, oh, I'll focus on just like exploring this one map. If you're a completionist and want to 100% everything, it doesn't feel overwhelming when you're exploring stuff. There's some quality of life exploration things that are clearly not in the beta yet, but I would expect them to be there in the full game. Stuff like, you know, whatever, like, you know, essentially things like treasure compasses and stuff like that are not in the beta yet. I would expect something of those types to be in the full game, however, so. Feel bad the early maps could release because later ones will definitely outshine them. That happens always. But also some of these, even these release maps are already like pretty good. But obviously it's because, you know, they're new. If you compare them obviously to earlier maps of older games, then it's a bit unfair. Ooh, a launch. Optimization is going to be a thing, yes. I mean, we can talk about performance or optimization at some point, but it's kind of, I can't really talk about it super well because my machine is quite strong, so I haven't had any issues pretty much at all. It's not really representative. But obviously the specs for the beta were quite high, or significantly. Loading screen, not having loading screens is nice. Still feels like an open world, because that's the thing. It can still very much feel like an open world because you don't have those loading screens for almost any area. Like any of the areas you see here, you can just walk between them. You can't walk between, like you can't walk from here to here because there's no connection. But you can like just walk through all of these. You can walk through here, you can walk through here, all the way to here. You can just walk. You don't have to TP or anything. You don't need loading screens. Which makes these sort of, even though the maps are somewhat smaller, it makes them feel a bit bigger because they are connected. And also some of them are pretty dense. Like some of them are fairly dense. And some of them have a lot of like verticality as well. So even if they're smaller horizontally, there's a decent amount of, there's like caves and like whatnot. So you have a decent amount of verticality in some of them as well. And also, I mean, as you can see, they also don't feel that small because you have these huge, beautiful vistas and like backgrounds in a lot of them. So you can just see miles and miles away, so they don't feel small. It feels like you could just go over there. You can't, but it almost looks like you could. I think we might get a motorcycle. Do we have to get a motorcycle at some point? Actually, this probably isn't going in a video, but I expect that we will get a motorcycle for the desert area where Arknight is from. We'll get to that later, Yonder. The desert area, I think we might get a motorcycle for there because Arknight specifically, her hobby is like tuning up motorcycles and stuff. So I bet we get a desert area which has like much bigger open sort of space and we can get a motorcycle. That's my guess. That's where it would fit very well. But okay, next up, we can then get into the factory portion. You've probably seen much more complicated factories. If you've been following the beta and people playing it at all, you've probably seen much bigger bases with much more complicated stuff. Mine is super basic. But that's fine. I've still played a fair bit of the factory. So yeah. The entire, like, essentially second half of the game, the Factorio / Satisfactory factory building aspect, which is just a straight up ass whole nother like game inside the game. You can use hours and hours on the factory gameplay, and it is not gated by like anything essentially. Like you do not have to wait to sort of do stuff. The only gates is your overall progression that you can unlock like higher tier materials. Otherwise, you can lose a lot of time on the factory. But don't get scared if you hate factory games, because I think overall they do a pretty good job of, well, frankly, they're almost a little bit too slow. But they introduce the factory stuff extremely gradually and slowly for the most part. They take their time to not scare people away because of the factory stuff. Because they are aware that the factory stuff is for sure like the scariest part of the game for kind of the 3D gacha audience, essentially. First of all, they have a whole bunch of tutorials, though I think the tutorials could be quite a bit better, frankly. I think the tutorials are not like best, but they have a huge amount of tutorials. They have tutorials for pretty much goddamn every tiny thing you could imagine. And they introduce it very slowly just in general. So you don't sort of have, you do not get overwhelmed by the factory sort of almost at any point. At least I haven't felt like overwhelmed by it at any point, but I'm not like a complete factory noob. But I have not played a factory game actually since, I think it was in middle school, the last time I played any kind of factory simulation stuff, and that wasn't even a full-ass factory game. That was the factory mods in Minecraft that I played. That's what I played. That's like the only factory simulation stuff I think I've played in my life. And I indeed have not touched that stuff for years. Over a decade, I guess. And I did not feel like overwhelmed or like terrified by the factory stuff. And indeed, there were multiple times where I got a little, I was like damn, I could do a little bit more factory though. Like, damn, I could do some factory. Like, it can be fun. It can be fun. It can even be fun. And the thing is, if you don't find the factory stuff fun at all, you can ignore it quite a lot. You don't really have to. There are very few things that you have to use the factory for. Like, you can find ways around stuff. There's like a couple of, you need it for a couple of things that are relevant to exploration. You need to like craft some bombs for exploration puzzles. You need to pull the, that's not even really related to the proper factory building, but you need to pull your power lines to places so that you can power certain puzzle mechanics or something, or open a gate and so on. And then yes, you can put around zip lines so that you can get around, and that's not the zip line. You can put out zip lines so you can like get around faster and whatnot. However, the zip lines currently could be implemented better because the zip lines at this moment don't actually really enhance your exploration capabilities. Because you kind of have to do the exploring first so that you can plan out where to put your zip lines. The zip lines are much more so feel like they're useful for and used for just getting to like rare resource points again and more easily, so that you can like go retread your traces to certain points of the map where you have like rare resources or something. That's what your zip lines feel useful for. For actual exploring, like first time exploration, they're kind of useless. And they can also be a bit of a pain to actually put around the map, which is one of the things that I'm hoping that they will adjust for the full game. Just make it much easier and comfortable to put the zip lines around the map. Because right now, bit of a pain. And one of the other things, so yes, small exploration stuff is one thing that factory is necessary for.
Weird. I prefer busying myself with a job or delivery.
Okay, Gilby. The other thing that factory very much is necessary for, if you're just someone who wants to just do combat stuff and like exploration stuff, is the gear. All of your character gear,
Come closer.
these things, these are all crafted through the factory system. You have to make factory stuff to be able to make the materials to craft your gear. So that is something that is like kind of forced upon you, if that's how you want to put it. You're kind of with that you're forced to interact with the factory if you want to make gear, and you kind of need to make the gear. The gear is pretty darn important for your characters and your team. You can get like some small amounts of gear stuff from like exploration, from like chests and stuff, but it's really not enough to actually like fully gear anything. So you will have to do it. But the thing is also that with the way that it's currently set up, you have like a couple tiers of gear, and then you have to like upgrade a production line to make a higher piece of gear. But the thing is that once you've set it up, once you take a little bit of time to set up your new upgraded production line for a better quality gear, it's not super complicated. It is not like overly complicated. Even for the highest tier gear material, it is not super complicated to make. And once you've made it once, it will just be there. And frankly, you can just make it. You can leave it running overnight, because that's the cool part with all the factory stuff. It is just always constantly running because it's an online game. So you can just set up your factory, set up your little production line for your gear, go to bed, and by the time that you log in the next day, you will probably have more than enough gear components to do almost goddamn anything. Like, it's a lot of the factory you can play in a way where you set up a thing, and you can then just leave it. You can leave it for quite a while and don't have to like, you can sort of set it and leave it. Set it and forget it. It'll just do its thing. And if you don't care, for example, if you don't like the factory that much, you can just sort of ignore like perfect production and perfect efficiency and stuff, and essentially go with the mindset of like, hey, it's good enough. It works. That's a lot what I've done. Because I haven't wanted to use all of my time on this planet on optimizing factory stuff, that's how I've done most of mine. It's good enough. It works for now. And that has carried me completely fine. I have no issues, really. And also, yeah, there is 100% going to just be like factory guides of like, hey, here's the setup for a good thing. Like, here's your full setup for this thing, and just copy it. It's absolutely going to be a thing, 100%. So the people who truly despise the factory will be just able to find templates to copy, so. And so otherwise, I mean, overall for the factory, I mean, I like how the factory works. Factory heads, I do see wishing for like more complexity and stuff. For me personally, kind of where it is now feels pretty good. I'm not that knowledgeable on factory to really be able to see like, to sort of pinpoint what would be lacking and what would be like a good adjustment, because I'm just sort of not as knowledgeable or experienced with that kind of stuff. But indeed, so to me, who is fairly a noob for factory stuff, it feels fine. It's like, it's just sort of normal enjoyable. You can enjoy it sort of mostly just to the amount that you do. You don't ever, I've never really felt super forced to like, oh no, I have to do factory now. At the very least, if you don't care about like perfect production efficiency and whatnot. I have a lot of inefficiencies in everything I'm doing, because it's fine, it works. I might make a separate little video for just like how much Arknights do you need to know to enjoy Endfield. I might make that a whole separate video. Also, yeah, Chad is mentioning the outpost system and currency exchange, which is, I guess that is kind of an, that is one of the other main aspects of the factory, is you unlock these outposts and whatnot, where you get, when you produce some kind of factory item, and then you supply it to the outpost, and it happens automatically as long as you have enough of them in stock. I do not have enough of like any of this shit in stock, so whoops. And it gives you some convention certificates, and this is essentially sort of another just form of currency, and this currency right now you can use to buy some progression items like materials, just like character level up materials and stuff, but also gifts. You can give to your operators so that they get a higher trust or, you know, affection level, because that is a mechanic in the game where characters have a trust stat, and you can speed up that process by giving them gifts. Right, because I guess somewhat, it's not really related to the factory stuff. It's not really related to the factory stuff. But actually, maybe and yes, also Chad mentioning that you can progress these outposts as you supply more of the item that they want. You'll also get XP for the outposts, and then you can level up the outposts to unlock better areas. So that's how actually, yeah, leveling up outposts actually is fairly important. You do kind of have to do it. This is another one that you kind of do have to do, because leveling up outposts is how you level up the essentially world level of your maps, so that you can get higher tier enemies and higher tier rewards and higher tier materials and like more materials. So that is another thing you do. You do kind of have to interact with the outposts to get your map level up. But for those, it's the same thing. you set up the production line that they want, you set it up once, and then you let it go. And yes, when they upgrade, they might want higher tier items, but you don't even necessarily have to give them the higher tier items. You can, sometimes you can just keep giving them the lower tier item like the previous one and they're still good. It'll just be slower. Like very much for all the factory stuff, you can put in less effort. Stuff will just be somewhat slower or not as efficient. And you can just sort of choose to whether or not you want to do it. And same thing, that stuff will also end up just having guides if you hate the factory. But I kind of encourage you to maybe actually interact with the factory stuff because it can be a little fun. You can get a sort of sense of accomplishment. I know that's a horrible word to say these days, but sense of accomplishment from actually making a little bit of factory stuff yourself. And yes, when you level up the outposts, the areas like sort of also level up in visuals. Like they change, the outposts actually like upgrade, they get better houses and stuff when you level them up, which is just sort of a nice little visual feedback. But yeah, so I think for me, the factory works pretty good. Like it's, the factory doesn't feel disruptive to any other parts of the game. It feels like decently well integrated into what happens. So I think it works. Like it is one of those things like, how the hell is this gonna work for, you know, a game like this? But no, they've somehow done it. It kind of fits in pretty well, and you can indeed, you have a decent amount of freedom to adjust how much you actually interact with the factory stuff. So I wouldn't be very worried about it. You get to use your brain when building a production chain. Some of us don't have one, okay? So next up, we've gone through essentially most of the gameplay stuff. We've gone through. I guess visuals and audio and stuff. It shouldn't be too long, but I guess next up we could then go through sort of the, I guess, technical aspects. The graphics, what it looks like, what it sounds like, which, very simply put, very good. Very good. Be it the environment, be it the lighting, be it the sound effects, be it the music, or be it the character models and their animations. Actually, give me a second. I'm just gonna... so they don't spam their voice lines when I'm going through the operators. The character models, the animations, their expressiveness, the detail, the textures. Everything is just very high quality. And it's like, this is still a beta. And also, because it's somewhat related to the audio and stuff and whatnot, the English dub, so I am generally speaking a person who for these games almost always plays Japanese dub because it feels the most correct. And also I somewhat understand Japanese, I don't understand Chinese. So I usually play Japanese dub. But for Enfield, I've actually been playing the English dub because it's like very good. And it feels somehow almost more appropriate than Japanese. Even though normally I heavily prefer the Japanese dubs. But for some reason for this one, the English is really good. They have a bunch of unique accents. Characters have like different accents. We have a whole bunch of different British accents. We have like Irish, we have Scottish, we have a whole bunch of just like random British accents. We have like Italian, we have Chinese and other like Asian accents. It's very nice. It's very cool. I love to see it. And chat also, yes, mentioned another good thing about the sort of audio stuff is kind of audio mixing for different areas and stuff, where if you're in a cave, you'll have like reverb as characters speak. The sound will like sort of echo slightly and so on. And also the ambient music just the overall music when you're exploring and whatnot, it actually has like different versions for when you're just outside like this. And when you're inside of like a cave or a building or something, it will actually slightly change the music to sort of fit the location better. Which actually, I will actually put I'll put an example of this just because it's, I know where I can easily get an example of this like quite quickly. The quarry is really good for an example of this. I just need to find where I can get into like a cave real quickly. It's like over here. Actually, I don't even necessarily need the cave. We'll see. Where can I get into a cave? It's over like, yeah, it's over there. I can get into a cave quickly. This will be cut out. I went to the wrong place. Thank God I can just jump out. It's supposed to go over here. Don't aggro me.
Better stay away from that bugger.
Actually, oh, is it? I think she might have one closer here than I thought. Maybe? Yeah. Okay, I think I have one up here. Yeah, here. Oh, well, let's check that it actually works first.
A rare resourcing point.
Reverbangy. Well, because the combat music change is obvious. We're talking about specific, like, little ambient music changes. Okay, it does work here.
There is a formidable antagonist up ahead. Steel yourselves and tread lightly.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it works here. Actually, I don't need to move there. Okay, so here's just an example of what I actually mean with the music changing if you're like outside or in a cave. So this is the music outside. And then once we walk in here, it's still the same song, but it's just like a remixed version to fit sort of the closed off cave, which is just really nice. And yes, another thing that chat pointed out is that your stuff like your character's footsteps, you will have different footstep sounds for not only the material that they're walking on, but also depending on what their shoes are. Like for example, with Ember, especially if you're walking around on, like, depending on what you're walking on, the sound is more metallic because she kind of has like these sort of more metallic-ish shoes. Snowshine's clunky boots as well, yes. And also, like, the sounds of your character's clothes rustling and everything. Obviously, Ember ends up having a bunch of kind of more clanky metallic sounds compared to something like, you know, Surtur's or Levitane's or Gilberta's, you know, actual cloth, which will just kind of make cloth sounds. Okay, we can return to our original place. As I turn off music. Return to our original lookout point. Nope. Yeah, also, yeah, I'll mention the weather effects as well. I think I can't be able to go show it, but... Actually, maybe I should. It's just not like super visible when you go over there to... Still. Is there any water here? There kind of is, but I think it's better to just go to Jinglong and you can jump into some water over there as well. You can, like, I think, like right over here, you have some like shallow water you can jump into. Yeah, you can just kind of get yourself a little wet. It's not raining here though, is it? Dip yourself into the sea. It's not really raining here. Wait. There's a better spot. Actually, it's over here. Because here it's raining and there's shallow water. And also, another thing is you actually do have different textures. For example, when you're in water or it's raining, you will have different textures on your clothes and your character's hair and everything. It's these kind of little details, especially on stuff like metal. Like if you look at Ember here and all her metal, it has like water droplets running down it when you're in rain. It's all these little details that they just have in here, which is just, it's so nice. It adds so much. Like it's tiny little things, but it just deepens the game in such a significant way. And yeah, also, you have a little bit of camera drops on the camera as well. Camera drops? Water drops on the camera. Also, while we're here, this is one of the other areas. This is the second area that I mentioned earlier, which is a sort of Chinese-inspired area. So we have bamboo forests, and it's kind of misty and hazy, and it's raining, and there's some storks and wolf guard. We can go back to our original spot. Just because it's a nice lookout point. Flashbang, however. And yeah, I guess, so otherwise everything, yeah. Well, I think we've kind of gone through the visuals and whatnot. I'll mention the vistas still again. And still a little bit more about the visuals. Another thing is that you have these, I mean, just the skybox, first of all, is just gorgeous. With, for example, the huge planet just always kind of there in the sky, unless it's super cloudy. And then you have like these, just, you see all this stuff really far away, and you can see like that's a place you can go to. You go there later in the game. You can see it from here. So you have like these just gorgeous vistas in a lot of places as well, which are just very nice to look at and make the map feel a bit bigger. Sort of related to that, the game right now, there isn't a sort of day-night cycle or a weather system in the game. You don't have like dynamic weather or dynamic day and night. Instead, each map is specifically sort of lighted and designed with a specific weather and a specific time of day and lighting to always be in a certain map. So this map is sort of in daytime, and the one we were just in for the Chinese-inspired map is, we're not even sure of the time of day, but it's probably during the day, but it's like it's a little bit cloudy, or it is time of day, it's sunny elsewhere. But it's sort of cloudy, and you have like rain and stuff instead. And then some of the other maps are a little bit more like in the evening time instead. So you don't have dynamic weather and dynamic sort of day and night. Instead, maps are just sort of designed to be in a specific one, which lets them do, you know, somewhat nicer lighting. They can make some of these maps look really nice kind of all of the time because the lighting isn't changing, which I'm pretty okay with. As long as they give us like a decent variety of maps and lighting conditions, I'm pretty okay with that. I like, especially before the beta started and early on in the beta, I was like, I really wish we had a day-night cycle and a weather cycle. But it might not be necessary. Like, I've somewhat come around on the idea that instead, I'm very much okay with them sort of more finely crafting some of these maps for a very specific, like, vibe. Because obviously, that affects the vibe quite a lot, whether or not you have a sort of what your lighting is and what the weather is and everything, and it affects the vibe of the place. So I don't mind them sort of more specifically crafting that vibe for each map. And yeah, I was also going to mention that, chat said it as well. They could also possibly at some point, they could make versions of some of the maps where they might have a different time. Like for some, they could have a sort of nighttime. Like they might have a nighttime version of this map for like some specific mission or some specific part in the game. And actually, you do actually have, at the very intro to the game, when you start off like sort of over here, when you really only have like this area here, like that you're running through, like in the sort of actual prologue of the game or sort of very, very beginning of the game, it actually is nighttime over there, and it looks very, very different because it's supposed to be a different vibe. And then as you progress, the sort of sun comes out and the clouds clear, and then it looks like this after you've progressed far enough and stays here. So they could also do that where some maps might progress in a way where they actually change their time of day and so on at some point. And then sort of finally, like for visual stuff, I guess would be like menus and whatnot, which obviously I might have opened this a couple times already. So some of the menus maybe have a little bit of like, they could use some tweaking. Like for example, the fact that I have to actually like scroll on this menu that I'm hiding somewhat, but I have to scroll on this one to actually get all the buttons to open up or to show. Maybe you could redesign. And I've seen some people somewhat like complain that like, I've seen some people say that this menu sort of feels a bit unintuitive and so on, which I can see. Like I actually quite rarely do I use the buttons here on the right. I usually just end up using like a keyboard shortcut to open map or something else. Also, you have a map here, but you can also just click in the middle to open up the map. So it's... But yeah, for just in general, a lot of the UI, however, is... if nothing else, it looks very good. I think most of the UI also functions pretty good. No real complaints. If you're familiar with other 3D gacha games, a lot of the menus will probably be quite familiar and not too hard to figure out. But for some reason, gacha games really do they have a thing where some menus are just unintuitive. Like it just always happens to be so. And it takes getting used to like a specific game's UI system. Also, I'm covering up a whole load of it because I'm over here on the right side. But the menus look nice. They feel nice. They're responsive. The visuals are very nice. This is maybe one of the UIs that I feel could use a little tweaking. It looks really nice. I like the concept, but it can sometimes feel a little tiresome to work through, sort of clicking through the various things. Could maybe be adjusted. One thing for menus. So first of all, I mean, over here, I'm kind of hiding it, but it's EFDB right below me there. This is a little database thing. And this database is incredible. It lists just like everything you could ever want. So it obviously has all of your like tutorials and all the information on like goddamn everything you want. But also, right above me, as you can see, there's a search. So if you want to find something specific, you can search. Let's say I want to find stuff about heat damage. I can just search for it, and it'll bring up the things that mention heat damage. Which is so nice. It's so nice. Especially because you can also search for everything here. This is somewhat related to the factory stuff, for example. Let me just I'll look up like one of the gear components or something. You look up, this is the material name. You just look up this. And then you can find all the items that are related to it. And then you can also view details on it. You can, find whatever. And then you can also, this is where you can, for example, find your production chains. Also, just as a side note, this right here looks significantly more complicated than it actually is. They're showing a lot of like extra information here that doesn't actually need to be here. You don't actually have this many production lines when you're making this thing. You actually only have 2, but they're showing like 6 for some reason because there's multiple ways to make stuff. And there's also just like some stuff which is just like some of this stuff over here you just don't really need to have here. So this looks more complicated than it actually is, just as a side note. But you can indeed see like your entire production lines here if you want to just remind yourself of like all right, what do I need to do? It shows you the machines you need. It shows you the items that you need and what you need to make them. Yeah, chat's saying that, yes, the wikis are now just part of the game. They're just here. However, one thing to mention that a lot of people have mentioned, they could adjust the brightness of these menus a little bit, because obviously this sort of nice industrial white is part of the aesthetic for Endfield. It's everywhere. For some of these menus, it's a little too bright. You can see on my face, I am getting like constantly flashbanged. I am so white right now. I am incredibly white because of these menus. When I go out, now I look like a normal human being instead of a vampire like I do now. And also, I'll probably put in a clip or something here of like the loading screen flashbangs. The loading screen is pure white. It's the biggest flashbang the game has, and it's, you know, when you're going through like maps and stuff, if you are teleporting around, you will be getting loading screens. You're going to be getting flashbanged, but a lot of people have mentioned this, so I assume they're probably going to adjust it to not be so bright, or give you like a dark mode option or something. I think it would genuinely be very possible that they just give us a dark mode option for like a lot of this stuff. Because as you can see, a lot of the menus, very white. Look nice, little bit of a flashbang. Also, I mean, while we're here, so this is kind of like, this is right next to the EFDB, there's archive, and this is essentially your place for all of your little lore bits and whatnot, all of the little texts and whatnot that you gather, and like little quest progression things and stuff. This is just where you can find those. Also, I kind of realized, I guess we can talk about it in the gacha section. I'll probably just talk about it in the gacha section specifically. But I didn't really talk about like the weapons at all and the fact that they exist. But I guess it maybe goes better because I'm not going into details of stuff, like super details. So I guess we can talk about the existence of weapons rather than the gacha section. Yeah, it fits into there. Because I just talk about the sort of existence of them then like... They almost maybe genuinely feel better for the gacha because you want to talk about like their significance for combat as well. And then that kind of ties into how easy it is to get them. True. Okay, I didn't fuck up. I thought I fucked up and I'd have to like talk about it now and then put it earlier. All right. So I think that's the visuals done and audio. And I guess then next up we could go into the story and narrative part. You know, at least for everything that we have in the beta. We have a decent amount of like, I don't know how many hours. Maybe around 10-ish hours, depending on how fast you're going, but maybe around 10-ish hours is sort of like main story content. Like voiced, like fully voiced main story content. Maybe around 10-ish hours for the beta at the moment. Slightly more, possibly. No. Yeah, probably about 10 hours. Never mind. I was calculating wrong. About 10 hours. Story and narrative is probably actually the one thing on the game that is currently the weakest. Like for the beta, I think story and narrative is actually the weakest aspect at the moment. It's just like so many early gacha games, or rather almost every early gacha game story, it's just kind of mid. Like, not much happens. And with some of the ways that the game progresses and the story progresses, you kind of get a little lost in the sauce. Like, it kind of feels, you kind of forget what happens and stuff, because it's not like that memorable. And then you do a whole bunch of stuff in between some of the story quests. So you also kind of just like, all right, yeah, where were we? And the sense of urgency can sometimes be hurt quite a lot by some like level gate and progression stuff, which however feel, at least to me, feel like they're probably beta specific. There's some weird level gates you get in the latter half of the story that feel very artificial and like not finalized, where I imagine it might be a beta thing rather than a full game thing. But when it, however, comes to the presentation of the story, it's actually very good. Like, the presentation of everything is really good. It's just the actual substance of like the writing and stuff where the issue is. But it looks great because the game looks great. The voice acting is fantastic. And they've done a really good job with, because it's a gacha game story. So quite often it's just kind of characters standing around and talking to each other, right? But they've done a pretty good job at not making those sections feel as like mind numbing as they can sometimes. And the way that they do this is by having kind of a bunch of variety in how they're presenting stuff. So they'll have like little mission briefing sort of like calls, like, you know, you kind of have like you have like a group Discord call with your colleagues or something, and you have like little mission briefing things. They'll use those sometimes for dialogue instead of having every character stand around each other. Even and when you do have characters just kind of standing around, sorry about that. And when you do have characters just kind of standing around and talking to each other, they'll, for example, have the camera move and pan. They'll change their sort of camera shot fairly often and show sort of different perspectives on stuff. And also, just because their character models and whatnot are so good and animations are so good, all of the characters are really expressive. So even when they're just talking, they're usually putting on some kind of expression, or they're moving around in some way, they're posing in some way, and a lot of the characters kind of have like poses and facial expressions that fit their character. It's not just like generic poses that then everyone uses. Some characters will have poses that almost no one else uses, at least at the moment, maybe because of character variety and how many characters we see in the story. But you can even get a feel for a character's like temperament and what kind of character they are by just looking at their like body language essentially during like just talking sections in the story. You don't even necessarily have to read, like listen to them. You could be deaf and still get a decent idea on the character just by looking at how they move during talking scenes. And then obviously they have some more sort of fancy pre-rendered cutscenes in the game as well, because of course you do, and they look very nice. They also have some in-game cutscenes that don't look as nice as the pre-rendered cutscenes, but still look decent. Some of them could use a little work though. Some of them seem a little unfinished, which they very well might be. It's a beta. But yeah, just because of they mix up the presentation enough, and also just the sort of fundamentals for stuff like their character models and expressions and things are good enough, where a lot of the even just normal talking sections, like there's enough there for them to not feel just like you're like chewing on wood or something. And at the very least, the writing for stuff like dialogue is not like, at the very least, it's not bad. It's either just kind of normal or good, and sometimes it's quite fun. And it heavily benefits from like the very good dubbing that they've done. Obviously, I've mostly gone through and everything in English dub, and for example, there it's fun because you'll meet characters who have different accents and sort of very different characters and whatnot. I just had a thought. Where did it go? Oh no. Right, another thing is that at least for the story that we have currently for the beta, for the main story, you kind of are always following the same couple of characters. You're not like constantly meeting new ones that are like sort of your main cast. You have like a core cast of characters that you meet, and you follow them sort of throughout the whole story. So you also get to know them, and then there's mostly enough variety between the characters that you can sort of like, oh, that's the fun, like that's the funny, more chill one. You have like Chen and whatnot, and then you have the more serious Perlica, and then you have the main character Enmin, who can be a bit of a gaff at times, and then also sometimes serious. And then you have edgy Wolfguard in the back there, who's a bit edgy at times, but also ultimately still a good dude. Fucking clouds looped again. That is too. chat saying the story doesn't feel like they're using every single opportunity to sell you the new character yet. That is part of it, however, is the starting story, so they don't have to be there trying to sell a new character to yet. So you instead just get, you know, a sort of core cast you get to follow instead. Yeah, we can mention the story quest. And also after you sort of finish the main quest for the beta, you also unlock some story quests. You unlock one for Gilberta here. And then you also unlock one for Wolfguard over there. And Gilberta's story quest is first half, kind of boring, generic. But then the second half is pretty nice. You really get to sort of know her more and get some better writing. And then Wolfguard's quest is actually pretty good. And it gets it gets a little dark. It gets a little gritty, which especially, you know, fans of Arknights will enjoy. Because it gets a little bit more serious. Because that is, however, one thing about the story, especially if you're trying to compare it a little bit more to Arknights, it is a far more lighthearted and less depressing story than Arknights is. For good and, you know, bad. There's positives and negatives to it, but it could use a little bit more greenness, a little bit more darkness. It's like kind of a little, at the moment, the stakes just feel a little like, there's just not that much going on, like the sort of, because at times they kind of, they try and be like it's very urgent, but then it's not really that urgent, seemingly. There's some weird mismatch, like for sure the actual narrative does need work. And I've seen other people also talk about it, and I've put it also into my feedback where the actual narrative of things for the story does need work. It just feels a little disjointed. It feels a little unfocused. And like we kind of feels a little directionless. You're kind of not quite sure what you're doing, even though you do sort of have a goal you're working towards, but you kind of forget what you're working towards. Because it's just sort of, it doesn't really guide you in a very good way towards that thing, and gets a little, you know, distracted at times. So yeah, overall for the story and stuff, narrative and whatnot needs some work. Some characters also need some work, but we haven't actually met. I mean, the ones you meet in story, like in main story, are all pretty good. But they also need time to like develop. You'll see them a lot probably in the story, so they also have time to develop. But yeah, like narrative and characters can use some work. But at least the presentation is so far very good and will probably just get better. So I'm not super worried. And very often with these gacha game stories, they start off mid. And then once they've kind of planted their feet down and they've kind of gotten over like the very basic portions of the story at the start, and they can start doing slightly more interesting stuff when you're sort of not introducing the player, the player to the world and to the characters, then you can do a little bit more. So we'll see how it goes in full release and further down the line. Because luckily also, yes, for story, you can do that. You can make it better as it goes on. You can build upon it. But it would still obviously be nice for the starting story to be a little bit better than it right now is. It could use some work. Yum, yum. So I guess that's all that stuff. And next up would be the gacha, except I think I'll go to the bathroom real quick first, and then we get into the gacha. And Jesus Christ, we've already been going for 1 hour and 20. I'm gonna have to cut this down a lot. I'm sorry, editing me, as you have to suffer through figuring out how much to cut and how much to keep. Sorry. That's how it go. You a yapper. I'll be right back. And we kind of talked about overworld exploring. I gave my sort of overall thoughts on the overworld exploring, where it's just kind of, it's about what you'd expect. It doesn't really have any significant surprises to it with overworld exploring. We kind of mentioned it. We talked about it already. Let me clean my glasses. Backpipe in the field. Wait. Right, so and I guess wait. YouTube stream is complaining about something. Right, I guess our sort of, I wasn't supposed to click. I guess the final main topic to talk about is the gacha. The gambling part of the gambling game. I don't think I'll get into the weeds of it. I won't get into like all the numbers. I'm not going to start getting into like math and stuff. This is going to be my overall like sort of summarized thoughts on it, rather than getting like deep into the details, because I think there's good enough videos already on that, on like the details of the system, and people have done like breakdowns of the numbers and everything. So I'll keep it a little bit more general and just what I think of it. So I think early on there was a lot of doom posting about the gacha, because it's out of the usual for these games. It's not sort of the quite what people are used to for this type of game. So there was kind of doom posting about it, like, oh my god, it's shit, it's horrible, it's doomed, it's so jover. And I think now people have slowly realized that maybe that's not the case. And I mostly from the start have thought that overall the gacha is pretty good. Just the systems of it, the sort of fundamentals of it are like 90%, if 95% just good. Especially, I think, for like dolphins and actually for free-to-plays, the gacha is probably going to be very good for you, as long as you have even the slightest bit of self-control. If you don't, well, I'm gonna be real, I don't have any sympathy for you. Okay, like that's a skill issue, just straight up. Like, bro, brain diff. Because overall, I think it's especially compared to sort of, the usual suspects that it automatically gets compared to, your Genshins, your Star Rails, your Withering Waves, and so on, your ZZZs. Compared to those, it's a very different system, and it's also very good. It's bad for whales. Straight up, it's bad for whales who are trying to, like, max dupe a character. For whales, not a good deal. For dolphins and free-to-plays, I think it's going to be probably very good. However, all of this actually has a massive asterisk, which is that I'm of the belief that you can make pretty much zero inference from a beta for what the actual, like, economy of your gacha rolls is going to be. A beta is, like, completely not representative of what is going to be in the full game. So, if the economy is very good, it's just even better for free-to-plays and dolphins. In theory, yes, if the economy is like dog shit, where you barely get any free rolls, then it could be bad. In theory, but it's extremely dependent on that. So I'm not going to make like guesses about that. Well, I mean, I kind of already did make a guess that it's probably very good for dolphins and free-to-plays, which I think it is. And so, I mean, one of the, I guess the main things for why I think it is somewhat the, you know, the sort of way character pities are made. So your character pities are generally a bit lower than what they are for the other games. Like you can guarantee your character in 120. I'm somewhat assuming that you already kind of know how the gacha functions mostly, but you have a hard guarantee at 120 rolls, but it's one time only, which is the part that's bad for whales, but it's good for dolphins and free-to-plays, because just 120, if you have 120, you can guarantee you're getting your character. You could get them earlier, of course, but 120 is your hard pity. You have a soft pity as well earlier, so when you're going to 120, you'll at the very least get 2 6 stars, or 2 of the highest rarity. And the one at 120 is guaranteed to be the on-banner one. And the main criticism people have had, the main issue people have had, is the fact that that 120 hard pity doesn't carry over to the next banner. The soft pity carries over, the hard pity doesn't. And that's been the main like criticism, which I do somewhat agree with. But I don't think it's as doomium as some people have made it out to be, partially because right now it seems this could change. This could very well change. But right now it seems that like characters will, not every single new 6-star will be limited. Right now it seems that new characters will also just go into the standard pool, so you can get spooked by them later. And they might also complete speculation, but considering what the banner lengths are right now, and the fact that they'll be going to like standard pool and whatnot, I somewhat think they might also have reruns more frequently. But like, yeah, as long as you have like a slightest bit of self-control for saving for something you want, I feel like it will be pretty easy to get all the things that you want as a free-to-play and a dolphin. And then we can kind of get into the fact that yes, there is a weapon gacha. And some people absolutely despise weapon gacha. I'm not a huge fan of weapon gacha either, but I understand why it exists. But also the thing is that in this case, the weapon gacha is effectively insanely generous. First of all, just the rates are pretty good. But the main thing is the fact that for rolling for your character, you will get weapon gacha money. And a decent amount of it, well. Like, no, okay, if you do, so there's been like, this is probably the only math that I'll put in here. If you do the full 120 rolls for your character hard pity, and you get minimum rolls, you get like the smallest amount you can, you will at the very least have like 60% of the gacha money, that's not the exact number, around 60%, like 55% of the weapon gacha money you need to guarantee their signature weapon, which is quite good. And then if you don't want signature weapons for everyone, you can save some of your weapon gacha currency for things that you do want. You can also, some of the weapons, you can also just straight out buy some of the 6-star weapons with the gacha currency instead of gambling for them. And obviously the character gacha is not the only source of weapon gacha currency. You also get it from just playing the game in some areas, and probably that will be a thing. You will probably have other sources of it as well. Right now in the beta, there's actually a weekly source of like extra weapon gacha currency for completely free. Don't have to roll for it. Don't have to buy it. It's just you play a game mode and you get the gacha currency. There's something else I wanted to say about weapons. What was it? My brain? My brainage? Or maybe it wasn't about weapons. I didn't talk about dupes, really. Oh no, this was fine. I'll say this later, I guess. So what order do I want to do this in? Because I'm gonna talk about like the sort of long term, how probably the gacha will turn out, and then also the dupes. The dupes I could have mentioned earlier as well, but and they kind of go hand in hand. I guess I can just edit them around to be in like whatever order I want them to be, but because yeah, I want to mention how much of an impact the dupes are. Exactly, Cubic. I guess I'll just mention that right now. So, and on the topic of just the dupes in general, so both characters and weapons have a dupe system. You need 6, I believe, to max duplicate a character or a weapon. Which, obviously, like, oh no, dupes, it's so over. Kind of true, but actually in this case, not true at all. Because so far from what we've seen, actually especially so for like 6-star characters, the dupes are not that significant. The dupes are kind of like, yeah, kind of small. Like the buffs you get from the dupes are not huge. They're not like game-changing amounts of buffs. You get you get some more numbers, but they're really not like massive, which also, you know, just discourages whaling. And it's like, okay, whales, I guess, don't like it. But otherwise, for free-to-plays and dolphins, you genuinely really only need one dupe of a high rarity character for them to be like just a fully complete character. There's none of that BS so far. There's none of that BS where it's like, oh, you actually kind of need like at least 1 or 2 dupes for them to feel like a complete character with a complete kit. That's not a case here at all. You do not need dupes for either the characters or the weapons. Because the weapon dupes, so weapons have 3 skills. They have like 2 stat skills and then they have 1 special skill, which has sort of a special effect. Dupes only upgrade the sort of maximum amount of that 3rd special skill. Dupes only upgrade the maximum amount of that, and you can get like most of that with just like sort of the end game farm, which I haven't really mentioned, but you know, weapons have attachments that give them more stats. Most of the stats you can just get from getting the correct attachment for your weapon. You don't need the dupes for it. You need some of the dupes to max it out fully, but it's only for the last skill. The stats you can max out without any dupes at all. So because the dupes aren't very significant, and seemingly characters, not every character is just going to be limited. Seemingly a lot of characters will be non-limited, which means even if you don't have like the usual pity carryover, like the hard pity carryover, I feel like it's not as big of a deal because this kind of ties in to what I think will be the case sort of long term. Because, okay, gachas are long-term games and your gacha rolls are a long-term economy. It's not the first month that matters. It's all of the years that you're there for. And what I, at least in its current form, what I see happening with the gacha overall is that over time, over a longer period of time, you will end up with a lot of characters you haven't even necessarily aimed for, but you have them and you can start building teams with them. Maybe they're really good support for something, but you skipped them the first time around, but you happen to get them later. And you'll also probably end up with lots and lots of weapons, because the weapons won't be limited either. You'll have a bunch, you will probably end up over time with loads of signature weapons for characters, or just very good options for characters, and you'll also end up with dupes on them. Because over time, you will just get that, like, get those rolls, and you will just randomly get some of them, even if you're not aiming for them. Which, for some of the other games, you really can't say. Like, for some of the other games, you have to very specifically aim for, I need this thing, and this thing, and this thing. And I can only get them right now, or like in 2 months when it reruns, or whatever. You can never just randomly get them. You have to very specifically aim for them. Right now, with Enfield, that doesn't seem like the case. You don't have to have this huge amount of FOMO, because you can somewhat expect to just get stuff over time. And depending on the gacha economy, you might be able to hard pity guarantee most of the characters that you want on their first go around. Maybe. Huge asterisk. Maybe. So yeah, the gacha is very different from the usual suspects, but I think it's different in a good way. Yes, I think the hard pity, they could adjust the hard pity so that it has a carryover and like make it higher, but with a carryover or something. Maybe they could do that, but honestly, even as it is now, I think it works very well, especially after people realize how it will work. Like, once there isn't a whole bunch of misinformation about it, and once people realize that in the long term, over time, you will just end up with a bunch of stuff that you weren't even aiming for. You'll just end up with a bunch of good stuff, which for the usual suspects doesn't happen. But for other gacha games, and seemingly Enfield, it's just going to be like a fact of life. You're just going to get stuff, even if you don't want it. Like, damn, sorry. Take this free, this 6-star character. Here's a busted 6-star support you didn't even roll for. You're welcome, bitch. That's all I want to say about the gacha. Is that all? Maybe. Actually, Jesus Christ, it's almost 10 o'clock. I do need to try and wrap up anyway. So then I'm not yapping here and, when it's past 10 o'clock and I'm supposed to be silent because I have neighbors. I think that's... Honestly, if I remember stuff that I need to like add in, I can just record it after the fact and slap it in if I realize I missed something very important. Show weapon screen? Well, it's a bit late for that, I think. That was 5 minutes ago. I could have shown the weapon screen when I was talking about the weapons, yes. I might just put in like some random B-roll of the weapon screen or something while I'm talking about it. Because that might be something, obviously, that I do for some parts of the actual edit, is grab other clips and whatnot from elsewhere instead of actually just being on this screen the whole time. I'll probably throw in some separate B-roll or whatever of stuff. Yeah, when I was talking about the ability. Yeah, I'll probably just put like some B-roll for the abilities of the weapons when I'm talking about it or something. But I think that's most of the things that I want to... I think I've gotten most of my thoughts out. So I guess sort of closing thoughts for the beta and expectations, I guess, for the future. Overall, like maybe has been somewhat obvious, I'm very impressed and very happy with how the beta is. I think not only does it have a lot of potential, a lot of the potential is just already there. It's no longer potential, it's just there. Playable. It's good to go. Like, a bunch of this just feels incredibly finished. And yet, they're probably still going to take many, many months before they're even going to release. Especially if they do a second beta test. We might have a second beta test before even release. So, overall, after this beta, I am, like, feeling quite positive about the actual full release. I don't think I need to mention I can mention the Ember outfit elsewhere. What did I just say? I'm feeling very positive about for the full release. Yeah. That's what I said. Yeah, probably the next beta would be more of a showcase than like an actual beta for feedback. Because it would be much closer to release for sure. But yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, I'm very satisfied with the beta. I've frankly been multiple times over this like month that I've played. I've just kind of been shocked of like how finished and how good and polished it has been. It's been a little silly. But hey, now it's time for more YouTuber things. What did you think? Do you have strong opinions about the beta? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Did you even get to play it? Did you get to consume it through some other means? Let me know. Down in the comments. Right over there. Do it. Comment it right now. Give me engagement now. Engagement now. And also like and subscribe or something. And hey, if you care, come and join the streams when I stream. Bye. Epic. I can stop my recording. Open beta announced a state of play. For sure. Okay, chat, you want to come back? Hello, chat. You are back. Join my Discord. I was sort of planning on already getting this out tomorrow. I don't have my Discord yet. Let me put you back over here as well. Hello, chat. You're alive. They exist. Where's the Discord, bro? Dude, I don't have time, man. I'm a busy man. Actually, I've genuinely just been incredibly busy. I've barely had time for like good God, no. I've been busy in so many ways, and I'm still like, frankly, I'm still like behind on some things that I should not be behind on because I've been ignoring some real life things that I maybe shouldn't have been ignoring so much, and it's getting quite late. There's some coursework stuff. There's also maybe some work stuff that I should be a little bit more on top of. Partially because I've just been having, for a good few, pretty much almost actually this entire year, my sleep schedule and quality has taken a bit of a dive. It's incredibly inconsistent, which has not helped. Because some of the timings of my like course stuff has been icky. And then there's been a bunch of like random one-time disturbances to it. So it's been it hasn't helped my productivity on keeping on top of things. Okay, now YouTube chat said hi back, finally. People, hey. But yeah. Now, first of all, that was an almost 2-hour recording, I think. I have quite a bit of cutting to do. Or it ends up just an incredibly long review. Or like it might end up as a sort of almost just mini podcast, a solo podcast episode. So maybe it might end up being like an hour-long yap. Maybe like, hey, put it on second screen or some shit. Incredibly busy an hour after you said I play video games every day. Well, that's part of the busyness, isn't it? And that's, well, see, because that's the thing. I've been busy playing video games instead of being a responsible, you know, individual of society. Instead I've played a bunch of time playing Enfield and other games and thinking about them constantly on my free time instead of thinking about other things. Hey there, Code. I do also wonder once actually Enfield releases. I mean, it's in the background, but we don't really. I guess I could show it to you. I do also wonder once Enfield releases, and when Enfield releases, it's going to be another situation like this where I've fallen back. I'm fallen behind on like so many of the other things, like other games that I just play, because there's just been so much to do with Enfield. Also, well, a bunch of it is because I'm, you know, also making content around it. But man, it's taking up a lot of time, and it's gonna take up like even more time on release when there's even more content. Like, bro, I'm behind even on just like normal Arknights stuff. On like the first of all, it took me a long while to get to like the Pepe event and stuff, and I have like not looked at the new CN stuff at all yet. I haven't even listened to like, I haven't looked at the new CC at all. I haven't looked at the new trailer that just dropped like 2 days ago or something. It's like, Jesus. Yeah, Panzer, all the rumors are August because August, end of August is the deadline for their, like, game publishing license thing that China has. And if you miss that, then you know, have to apply for it again. Like, it's annoying to miss that sort of time frame. It's still possible. You can just sort of, like, you just have to, like, explain why you were late or something, and then, you know, reapply for an extension or something. You can do it, but it's annoying, so they probably will try and avoid it. And also, I do think there's a little bit of, like, I think they might actually feel, you know, if I was them, I would be feeling a little bit of pressure to get the game out kind of this year, because it's been a while coming, and there's a lot of other games coming out. It does kind of feel like they do need to get the game out so that it can start, you know, maybe making some money. So, because right now still Arknights is the only thing making money for Hypergriff, so, you know. And yeah, I'll probably also try and play Puppelgun with some friends once it's out. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Enfield will probably become, like, sort of essentially my main gacha once it's out. In, like, the sense of sort of the one that I actually interact with kind of everything, because I'll still keep playing, like, for example, like, Arknights is, like, never dropping, but it's more so just that I'll tone down the sort of some of the stuff that I do for Arknights. Like, I'll maybe more heavily shift to just keeping up with the story stuff for Arknights itself, which kind of for streams is mostly how it is already anyway. Especially right now that there hasn't been, like, a new IS to play around.
Of all sorts of colors and flavors. It totally adds variety to my talk, you know?
Because, like, yeah, like, otherwise for Arknights, indeed, most of my, like, stream parts would already have mostly just been the event readings. And those I think I'll continue. The event readings I'll continue. Because streaming the event readings is just a very easy way. Like, it's hard for me to actually find time to read through Arknight stories and events and stuff if I actually kind of don't do it on stream, because they take a while, so. And yeah, Arknights can obviously also just be a lot more yapping stream. Like, if you're just, like, going through, like, the roguelike or something, it can be a lot more casual and just sort of yapping. I mean, I assume, I wouldn't be surprised actually if probably with Endfield, once you're sort of in endgame of Endfield, I could probably pretty easily do streams where you're just kind of mindlessly running through some kind of grind. And you could just be yapping during it. And it's just, you know, sort of there. Whereas RA story reading stream, I don't know if ever. Mainly because I just can't be bothered to play RA. Unless I have a way to read the story outside of it. I could maybe read it like that, sure, but... It is true that HG is making other games than just gacha, but the thing is that they've made 2 premium and 2 free, but the thing is, 1 premium is out, and it flopped, unfortunately. One of the gachas is not yet out, and one of the premiums is not yet out. Right now, still the only thing making money for them is Arknights. Original Arknights. So they're diversifying, but most of that diversifying has not actually yet, like, taken hold or borne any fruit. So functionally, they have not diversified at all yet, when it actually comes to the part of business that matters, which is income and cash flow. Yeah, Exestrus well, it was kind of a flop. We don't actually know if it, like, even made back the money, like if it, like, at least made back the money, because it was probably a fairly cheap development. The team was not huge for it, so it was probably a fairly cheap development, but it also clearly was not received very well, and I don't think it sold very well, so we don't, like, it was a flop in kind of a, almost like a PR sense, sort of, and like a sort of PR and or like just how it was perceived, it was kind of a flop. Even if it did actually maybe make its money back. but yeah, the CN community especially apparently really doesn't like Exastras. Which I mean, it's fair because it was quite rough at the start, and it took them quite a while. It took them a while to, you know, fix a lot of the things that were being complained about. But we don't know it. We don't really know at all if it was a monetary like flop, but at the very least, it was sort of a PR flop. Like in that sense, even if yes, it might have been very cheap to develop, and so it didn't matter as much. And also, I think it was somewhat developed with the idea that it wasn't going to be huge. Like it seemed to be sort of a, because a lot of the stuff from it, you know, was clearly like getting experience and developing production lines for Endfield to sort of transfer that experience over to Endfield development. But they clearly still also, you know, were trying to make an actual, you know, decent product. And it came out a little rough, so. But alright. So I'll try and indeed. I'll see if tomorrow I hope I have time to edit that thing and actually put it out. Like right away tomorrow. At least I'll probably try. Otherwise for this week, for streams... The quality of the trailers for Exastras was insanely high though. Those things are bangers. And also like, dude, all the music in that game is incredible. Holy moly, they cooked. Or the people they hired to make it cooked. There's some of the usual suspects in there from, you know, Arknights EPs as well. Dude, Ordorbis goes so hard. It's insane. And so does the Ottobesser as well, which is just the fictional language version of Ordorbis. Goes crazy. But yeah, for streams this week, I imagine Saturday I'll be playing something with friends. Because I think we actually have everyone around this Saturday. And if I won't be playing Endfield either, then... And then, yeah, probably Friday. I think Friday I'll do the hard mode for Limbus event rerun. I'll do the Limbus rerun event on Friday, I think, so that I can get on that as well. So that'll probably be the streams for this week. And then, wait a minute, let me check my... Right, and actually the week after that, so not next, so next week, probably mostly just normal. Well, actually next week, obviously, IS5 starts this Friday. So next week, I'll probably even have a couple of IS5 streams. And then depending on what else is happening, we might have a Limbus stream somewhere, and then probably Saturday I'd be playing something with friends again. But no like exact plans, but at the very least IS5 next week. And then the week after that, so in 2 weeks, I'll actually only have streams at the start of the week, because I will actually be on a small trip from Friday to Monday. So from the 28th until the 3rd, I'll actually be on a small trip, so I won't be streaming on those days. But yeah, for sure, next week for sure, at the very least, IS5. We'll see how much IS5 we do. We might do a whole bunch. Maybe I try and do some other stuff as well, but yeah, it depends. I think it mainly depends on like what else is happening and like what's happening in like Limbus and stuff. Because if there's nothing special happening in Limbus, then we might just do more IS5. I do also have some other, like, for example, I haven't touched 9 souls in almost 2 months, in like a month and a half. I want to get back to that at some point as well, so that's a whole thing. But yeah, I think that's the stream plans. So tomorrow, no stream. Tomorrow is normal Thursday. No stream. I'll instead indeed be doing my normal Thursday. So I actually have a bunch of stuff that I need to get done tomorrow. But then also try and edit down that 2-hour yap session into maybe possibly a somewhat coherent video. Thankfully, I already have the title and also somewhat thumbnail in mind, so YouTuber brain working. That's all that matters. The quality of video, irrelevant. but I have a title and thumbnail in my head, so I'm good. Don't play nice. Also need to play before I allow myself to watch streams of it. That's why I'm playing it, so that I could also watch other people play it. I also held off on Nisos for a long time. I was like, I need to play this, and then it took months and months. But off from streaming it for like a year from -1 viewer. Yep. But yeah, for now, thank you for coming, thank you for watching, thank you for chatting, thank you for lurking, thank you for joining the live filming session. The absolute yapathon. And goodbye. We shall see you on Friday. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Goodbye.